Rogers got.
There is evil lurking in the aisles of your friendly neighborhood Walmart.
Dude, let's steal these CDs. Cool.
But there's one man willing to roll back crime.
Excuse me, can I help you, youngster?
Oh, no! It's the Greeter!
The Greeter! A senior citizen superhero that always saves the day.
Help! That man stole my purse!
Don't worry, I'll stop him. Hi-ho, mobility chair, and away!
The Greeter. Justice wears trifocals and a denture smile.
Here's your purse, Missy. Now, I must be going. It's bingo night.
My hero.
Walmart shoppers beware of falling prices. Evildoers beware of falling prey to the Greeter.
I'm cold.
You know why Walmart's very much like the Catholic Church?
Because they suck?
The only thing more evil than Walmart or the Catholic Church are those people who subsidize them.
Right.
That's the similarity that I'd be seeing. I could be wrong about that. But
I'm not going to argue.
What does a heathen old faggot like me know anyway? You know, when you come right down.
Faggery.
Let's take a look at that schedule for today. Let's see what we got on. We got anybody who can speak today or just dull ex-jocks? We got Mad Dog on 2 to 4. He's a great ex-jock. He took a lot of showers naked with guys in Michigan, you know. Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog together 4 to 5. Hank Goldberg 5 to 6:30. My close personal Jewish friend. Marlins on deck at 6:30, and the Marlins in San Luis, the Cardinals at 7:05. A home game, I guess, right, Chris?
Correct.
Boy, I wish I could be there to see that. And then game night after the baseball game with Eddie K till 1 a.m. You know, Eddie K, he's here, he's there, he's gone, he's in, he's out. He's kind of like the Gary Sarner of the broadcast. Gary Sarner, by the way, ought to be shot, and so should Hank Guerrero. Who else do we have who's impersonating? And Todd Dreck. There are a lot of people impersonating salespeople in this joint, but nevertheless, and most of them aren't even from Raleigh. That's the thing that I don't understand. How are they still there?
They'll be out soon.
And then I heard Robert Grieper was missing this morning. Is he sick, hopefully, with some terminal disease? Or what's
he's on
going
vacation.
Oh, he's on vacation.
Yeah, he's
a
hanging out at
putz
his
like
house.
him gets vacation?
Well, yeah, he's sitting in his house.
So 1:20 yesterday afternoon, I get a text message from my close personal friend, the professor, who ordinarily is very astute, but, you know, we all have our days. Believe me, I've had many of mine lately. And he says, is that George's daughter on there with him now?
With a Spanish accent, no.
Well, no, you don't understand. That's not the amusing part of it. It was really... Incredible. Because the idea that at any time, forgetting about a day off, that at any time I'm sitting in here listening to the radio...
Right, you or me both.
...is so ludicrous, as they say in the music business. It just was amusing. Thanks, Professor, for a very good chuckle. I had a belly laugh, whatever that means. Like, ho, 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 like Fat-Ass Jolly Joe likes to do, belly laugh. Ho, 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 like Santa Claus. Speaking of goofballs, a 38-year-old man was arrested after he called 911. So who was it? It was Lucy Lopez? Lucy?
Right, from Power 96.
Who was in there last week talking to me before the show, how she just loves me.
She does.
Everybody loves me.
She listens to the whole show, pretty much.
Does she really? Well, we love
Always
you too,
has.
Lucy, and thanks for coming in and holding George's a hand yesterday. That was
I can't
nice.
thank her enough.
That was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm. I was touched.
Were you? So I hear you're trying to get a little action go with Josh Cordes' girlfriend now. Is that a joke or is that for real?
Not a little action. I want a lot of action.
I saw your poll, though, and I wondered, what kind of a bull-crap poll is that?
I've been burning a candle for her for a long time.
Have you?
You should see where I lit it.
Risky? Maybe she'll bring the vodka.
She's got the hugest natural cans I've ever been in the presence of. And she's pretty.
Pretty what, drunk?
I hope so.
So when is he going with that money that I gave him to lose?
He's going to Vegas. He's leaving this Thursday, so I'm taking his girlfriend out Friday night.
No, you're not.
I am.
What do you mean you're taking her out Friday night?
I'm taking her out to a nice romantic dinner.
What does the wife say about this? The wife.
What does she say?
I don't know.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
You know, she says... See, she can't bitch more than she already does.
See, in George's world, it's not his wife or my wife, or it's the wife, the
wife.
kid, the dog.
That's right.
The old man, meaning me.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing about me, though, with you, I've been the old man for like 15 years.
Forever. You were born the old man.
Do you know, this is very aggravating to me. I find out that there was a call to my house down there a couple of days ago, or a letter came, I guess, and guess who it was from? The Social Security Administration.
Okay.
Inviting me... Huh?
Yeah.
inviting me to call sometime in the next 7 days because come November 5, I'm going to be eligible to collect Social Security, even though I'm working and have a modest income, and et cetera, all of these. You know.
Right.
But how do you like that? Talk about feeling old.
Hey, take advantage of it. Get your senior citizen discount card out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Sonny.
I hate to say this, but I'm not too crazy about old people. I'm just talking about South Florida old people. A lot of old European people here, like at Woodbine, I hate like poison. They smell bad. They're very rude. They stand in your way. They bump you. When they sit down in the chair next to you, they go out of their way to make sure that they bump you and practically knock you off your chair. And they stink. There was a Russian woman, I swear to you. A couple of days ago I was there, and I had a pretty good streak going there for a while, but you can't win every day, you know. It's one of those things. But I swear to you, she cut cheese that was so bad that even, it was seeping into my nostrils. You know what I mean? By seeping it permeated the air to such a degree that, like the police would say, every breath you take, well, every breath I took was just, I was gagging and gasping for oxygen. Please, somebody bring me an oxygen. Thanks a lot. Oh, God. And I thought to myself, they have very, very nice washrooms here at Woodbine, all over the place. They're everywhere, and it would be nice if nature is calling, go and use one and get all of whatever that is out of your system, the fromage, and please stop doing that. She continued doing it and losing her ass. That was the good part. A 38-year-old man was arrested in Largo. What a place that is, man. After he called 911 and told a dispatcher he was surrounded by police officers and needed help. Police officers met Dana Farrell Shelton after being called. Did you see this? A couple that their kids were starving to death because they were busy playing Dungeons and Dragons. Did you see that?
The wife told me about that story this morning.
The wife?
The wife.
I'm not going to read the story because everybody's seen it already on TV, and it's too depressing.
Sure.
Everybody can reproduce. It doesn't take any great, ingenuity, any great skill.
Nope. Sometimes even by accident.
Making babies, and the worst people are making the most babies.
That's right.
Forced sterilization. That's the only salvation. Forget about global warming and all this other crap. Forced sterilization is the only hope for the human race. Police officers met Dana Farrell Shelton after being called to investigate a disturbance at a bar Sunday. So was that your daughter on yesterday or what?
Yeah, with the Spanish
found
accent.
no problems and told them to move along. Your daughter was speaking Spanish. Well, if she's smart, she will. Yeah. Now, if I say something that shouldn't be on the air, you'll have to dump it,
Right.
But I think I know all my words.
I know you do.
Shelton, who officers said appeared intoxicated, then called 911 to report he was surrounded by Largo police, according to an arrest affidavit. Our officers were standing there scratching their heads. He called standing there in their presence. Largo Sergeant Melanie Holly said, it's one of our truth is stranger than fiction cases. They were standing there wondering, why is he calling 911 to tell me he's surrounded by the police? That's because he was drunk. Shelton was charged with misdemeanor use of 911. The charge carries... See, now, I guess I'm not supposed to say 911, 911, excuse me.
There you go.
Right?
That's
right. Am I correct?
Get it right. Rudy Giuliani will have your ass.
Right. The charge carries a maximum penalty of a year in jail and $1,000 in fines. How do you like that? $1,000 in...
Oh, we're fine.
Dan Stewart, by the way, is still among the dead, and I can't believe that. For all the people that we've worked with, we've outlived him. Now, I don't take any great joy in outliving Dan. He was a pretty good guy, except for the fact that he came on the air and, was... flaunting his fagginess or whatever that day. I don't know what that was all about that day.
He owed me money.
He owed you money? How much?
$50.
Oh, not like Stan Major, though.
No, but it's relative. $50 means much more to me than $2,000 does to you.
$2,000
Trust
meant
me.
to me. That $2,000 that I gave his
that
wife
$50
that time,
right now.
That would be about $50,000 now by today's currency.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to George W. Bush, the American dollar is worth about a peso now. It's worth squat. So the Canadian dollar is almost even. Canadian dollar is at a 30-year high, which is bad news for me. Bad news for me. It's like 96 cents or close to it. In fact, I could look it up now, but it would be too depressing. Okay, how did George's poll yesterday come out?
Red.
This sounds like a Charlie B. poll to me.
It was.
I knew it. See, I can always tell. Not that his polls are always bad. This was okay, but...
That's fine.
He's got kind of like a format to him, you know what I mean?
That's fine. Better than what I can come up with.
Well, please send us a whole bunch more, Charlie B. and Sean and everybody else with your polls,
right.
Please. If I had to do it all over again, I'd want a different blank. Boy, there's a lot of obvious things that missed from here. It's too late now. How about job?
Sure.
Boss?
Yeah.
Penis?
I'm fine.
I want the same as I've got now, 228 of everything.
Yeah.
I want everything to be the same, 228. You people are so full of crap.
I
Are
know,
you kidding me or
I
what?
kept saying.
Just because I'm slightly incoherent today because I slept
They
about 5
lie.
minutes.
They're so lying.
A different spouse, 99. Height, 76. Weight, 69. Oh, I'll take that. Different parents, 48. I voted for that.
Me too.
All of these things. 23. Nationality, 17. Sexual orientation, 15. Not this old queen. No, thank you. Gender, 15. See, that's one thing about you straight people. I'm not talking about you, specifically, but I've discovered in my course of my existence that most straight people think that gay people all want to be straight.
This is true, but some of us have never thought that.
I find most amusing and most distressing and most disturbing and most
begged
asinine.
for someone to call and explain that. The people that voted for that.
And humiliating.
Who are you?
When you take all those great calls tomorrow on your show.
That's right.
You realize that 2 weeks from tomorrow is 2 weeks from tomorrow is El Primero de Agosto.
Okay.
And that's the day the spring book comes out.
Is it?
If I had to do it all over again, I want different siblings, 14, different kids, 11, and different skin color. Solamente Cuatro out of 619 votes. 619. We got 594 already this morning. Of course, I put this poll up there about, 6 last night. Whenever. As opposed to you who wait until, moments before the show, and then you put up there, oh, gee, I can't figure out why we can't get 1,000 votes.
No, I never say that.
I know, but I do. No, Chris does. Chris says that.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
He calls me up. He sends me text messages and says, gee, I can't understand why George is such a...
He only pretends to care because he's scared of you still.
Yeah, well, I don't blame him. I would be, too. If I were getting a paycheck like he was, I'd be scared all the time.
You know it.
If I had, a body with that kind of weight to support and sustain and maintain, I'd be really scared when I looked at that paycheck.
He's been dropping it.
When I looked at that stub. I get scared when I look at this stub. 12 minutes after 10 at 560 WQAM. Happy Tuesday to you. It's one of those Tuesday and Thursdays in the summertime. I sure liked it a lot better when I had the whole summer off. But, not that I'm complaining, you understand. Especially if the check shows up next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, by the way, is the 25th. Maybe we ought to start working on Jolly Joe and on accounting right now. Is Deb back from her vacation, I hope, or what?
I don't know what goes on that side
I'd
of
like
the
to be
building.
prepared for if my paycheck doesn't show up again on time next time, because they ought to be prepared for it, too.
Neil God.
Al Gore is back with a frightening new movie every parent should see.
It is our children who are the most affected by global warming. Greenhouse gases lead to red eyes, cotton mouth, and sadly, the munchies.
An inconvenient arrest.
Leading scientists agree CO2 in the air makes it impossible to see the speedometer. That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
An inconvenient arrest. The planet is suffering, and Al Gore has the prescription, even if other family members don't.
There are 12 steps we can take to fix things, like using low-carbon rolling papers and driving at slower speeds, like under 100 miles per hour on short trips. And
Yo, Dad! I've got a cool idea for the movie poster. It's penguins, right? But they're like in the desert, man.
Well, thanks for showing up, Al Jr. Once again, you've got perfect timing.
An inconvenient arrest. It's time to bust global warming and get it some treatment.
10:17 at 560 WQM on a great Tuesday, the 17th de El Julio, whatever that is. We got 608 votes on the poll already, George. I bet you're impressed by that.
No.
We're not going to make no 1,000 today, Chris. Sorry.
He left the room for some reason.
Did he really?
Now he's back.
Let me say it again, Chris. We're not going to make no 1,000 votes today. I'm just telling you that right now, so you can just breathe easy. Although in your case, when you're as fat as you are, I think breathe easy is unlikely. I know fat, believe me. 610 votes. Look at that. They're coming in chunks now. Maybe they want to prove me wrong again. This poll is from Sean the Poolmeister, not from Charlie B. And as far as, George and yours truly, if you think we're coming up with any polls anymore very often, forget about that.
Right.
I mean, we've exhausted our poll prowess, I think. And when you get to be as old as I am, believe me, your poll prowess ain't what it used to be. What's the worst thing about your boss? 610 votes. I have a great boss, 185. I think all those people probably think that these votes are being traced.
They're not?
Huh? They're not? Oh, I don't know. But why else would they say that? Did we ever have a great boss? Or did you? I did when I worked for Dick Casper, and when I worked for Gary Lawrence.
When I was a paper boy.
And I worked with Sid Levin. Well, Sid was, I owe so much to Sid Levin because he gave me my start in the market. But I don't know if he was a great boss because he worked for Yokola Katzenstein. But within the limits, within the parameters of $200 a week, $225. I'm sorry, Sid, $225. And then when he expanded my show from instead of 3 to 6 to 2 to 6, I got all the way up to $275 a week.
Woo!
And that's something for the extra hour, I guess. Thanks, Sid. No, he's good. Good people. Sid Levin. He's still alive, isn't he? I started talking about all the dead people we worked with. Let's make a list of all those when we finish this.
That'll be a long list.
Mike Ranieri, Bill Calder, Dan Stewart. Who was the dark-complected guy that got electrocuted at IOD, that kid?
Spencer T. Johnson.
Spencer, yeah. Got electrocuted. He was like a kid.
Right.
Who else is dead? Well, people you wouldn't know, like Jim Harper from INZ. And then the receptionist,
Sonny Hirsch.
Sonny Hirsch is dead. Dave, what's his name from the Herald, who used to love me and write Dave, what was his name? He had diabetes.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's bad. They named the performing part.
I know.
What is it?
I know, but
they named that building after him.
Well, you're senile and I'm high, so.
No, I'm the one that sounds like I'm high, and you're the one that sounds like you're senile. Dave,
somebody will know.
That's not good. That's very bad. Because he was great to me. He wrote all these. He was maybe my number one groupie all the years I've been on the air in the market. Dave, what's his name? He's dead. That was a real shocker too, because he was like 30 some odd years old.
Right, like 39 or something.
Dave
Hyde.
What is it?
Dave Hyde.
Yeah, Dave Hyde. Yeah, Dave died. Dave died. I don't know. I had an Uncle Dave, but he's been dead a long time too. He was fat. What's the worst thing about your boss? I have a great boss, 189. You know, the thing, are we sure his name was Dave?
No, I'm not.
Oh. I mean, he was a guest on the show like 5 million times. Who is it?
Was it Michael?
No. No, you're thinking of Michael Putney.
Yeah.
No, we don't like him. I don't dislike him. He just doesn't belong on the air. He's pseudo-intellectual, and very dull and boring. He's kind of like the Kimba Bokamper of TV news, Dull. I am the boss, 148. So you put those two together, it doesn't leave a whole lot for negativity about your boss. I think they really believe that these are being traced right to their PCs.
Must be.
He's an a-hole, 84. Well, that's a little bit harsh, don't you think? Although probably true. He's an a-hole, 84. He doesn't support his people, 55. He's ungrateful, 35. He's not as qualified as me, 34. Well, is there any doubt about that in my case? No. He's cheap, 28. He takes credit for the work of others, 28. And he's a meddler, 19. I think I left one out of there, or at least Sean left one out. He's incompetent.
Okay.
Let's get that on there right away, Chris. He's incompetent. Non-compos venus.
Okay.
Because that would certainly be my vote. Incompetent. Although we did really go to work for getting that check, the day after it was supposed to be in my hands. Hell of a guy. You're a heck of a guy there, Jolly Joe. He means well, I guess. So ask him, he'll tell you he means well. Although in your case, I don't know, it probably means evil because he wants those tapes on the air. One thing about QAM, man, they don't like you on the air.
No, that's all right. They don't like anybody on the air that doesn't talk GOP.
Well, I guess they don't like me then either, because I
don't
talk about stupid.
They don't. They like the ratings, but they don't talk about you. The back room during all those sales seminars, your name never comes up in a promotions meeting, in a sales meeting, in any meeting. Your name never comes up. This show doesn't come up.
Eat this, and you can rearrange those 4 letters any way you want. Anyway, that's my feeling about it. I'm holding back a little bit because I don't want to say anything bad, Massacre in Iraq. Now, who wrote this? This is not the column. It's a story. Well, that's because things are going so well over there, and we have these ongoing debates about, well, is the surge working, and we got to wait till September till the report goes. Oh, my God. What was that drug that we're talking about, salvia, or saliva, whatever it was before on CNN, salvia? I think everybody's on it. Everybody in America, and especially the people in the media. I mean, is there a debate on whether things are going well or whether we belong there in the first place or whether we were lied into it or all these people were used as human sacrifice? Is there any real debate about that?
No.
Of course not. It's like having a debate about God, or about Jesus and about Moses and about Holy Moses, all that crap, Dozens of Shiite villagers in the north were massacred by Sunni extremists, 2 officials said today, while a car bomb exploded across the street from the Iranian embassy in the heart of Baghdad and killed 4 civilians. They're dying like flies. The death is what's surging, the death toll. Meanwhile, Shiite legislators loyal to anti-U.S. cleric Muqtada al-Sadr decided to end their 5-week boycott of Parliament, one of their leaders, Bisayan. The Shiite protest, along with the separate Sunni boycott, had blocked work on key benchmark legislation demanded by the U.S. They're acting like a bunch of barbarians, like a bunch of religious lunatics, and that they want to kill each other just like the Israelis and the Palestinians. I say, have a good time, bring our people back and get them out of there. Get out of harm's way. I don't recall any Iraqis being sent to America during the Civil War in 1861. Do you? I could be wrong about that.
Well,
but
I don't. You know, my memory ain't as good as it used to be.
Yeah. Well, what's the guy's name again that wrote all those? It wasn't Dave anyway. That wasn't right. See, I'm leading you down the wrong path. Was it Dave?
I don't know.
No, it was not Dave. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can see him because he was on the show. Bill Cosford. See, that's close to Dave.
That's it.
Well, you got me going with that Dave crap. How'd you come up with that?
It's one of my favorite names.
Yeah, you heard me say it? Bill Cosford. Yeah. That was a shocker. He was a young guy, and he had diabetes. And well, am I wrong, or was Sonny Hirsch also the same thing, was diabetic, which I never knew, and he wasn't taking his medication, and he just... Did I mention Dick Casper's also been dead for many, many years? He was a great guy, a good friend, and a great broadcast. He really knew the business. That spoiled me. When you work for somebody that really understands the business, and I mean, he used to be a salesman many, many years before when I worked for him at WSNews before that. But he was a programmer. He put INZ on the air as all news. He put WNWS on the air as all talk, or at least I talked him into the all talk part. And he was great because he talked the business. He talked radio talk as opposed to the people we work for now who just talk ball games and jockstraps and crap. They talk a lot of crap. I mean, even a fag like me, and as much as I love, like Brady Quinn and some others, there are others who look pretty good. But, it's just not that important to me anymore. And then maybe when I was a little kid, it's okay for little kids, take me out to the ball game and let's go get some peanuts and Cracker Jacks and crap like that, It's not that important. But on these two stations, and we'll get to the stuff about Geldy, by the way. We've got 4,000 stories about the Panthers and about Geldy. And you want to know why? Because it's very important stuff.
See if you can spot the fat one.
I don't think we can play this, by the way, but Bob Lassiter is dead. Thanks, Brandon. How could I forget? Doesn't this say
out of mind.
Something? Ducci Box or something like that?
We'll see. I don't remember anything, but...
Maybe this isn't the one.
But I don't remember anything.
We'll find out.
Who's that man out in the morning?
I don't know.
From 6 to 10 on SUN. He's the guy that makes Dom DeLuise cry. He likes to think he's number one. Blah-bell. He's bigger than the coast. Blah-bell. His eyelids are the most. Blah-bell. The biggest man in radio today. Plays the songs that make you sleepy. He steals material from you.
Absolutely.
He gives the time when the weather's looking fine. It's time to play the song again. Blah-bell. He's bigger than the coast. Blah-bell. His eyelids are the most. Blah-bell. The biggest man in radio today. Let's make the Sun our sister station.
No.
And bring the blind in here today. And if the clap man could lose another kid, he'd have more boring songs to play. Blah-bell. Bigger than the coast. Blah-bell. His eyelids are the most. Blah-bell. The biggest man in radio today. Blah-bell. He's bigger than the coast. Blah-bell. His eyelids are the most. Blah-bell. The biggest man in radio today.
See, now, why were you telling me I shouldn't play that? Because there's stuff in there that... I thought that was the one that where Lassiter starts going nuts and calling people Doochie boxes and a-holes and stuff like that. That's another bit. Well, let's find that one and play.
Yeah, let's do it.
648 votes on the poll. He's incompetent. 1 vote for that. That's all. Only one person out there got a boss who's incompetent. Oh, I guess you voted, huh? Anyway, Bob Lassiter. I don't want to pick on Bob now that he's departed, etc. But it should be a lesson to all you fat people out there, including me. I got to be honest with you. I felt better when I was fatter.
Really?
I'm 184 now again. I've lost more weight. Well, this is called aggravation.
I was just going to say it must be due to non-related circumstances. Yeah, not fat related.
And my blood sugar has been pretty damn good for quite a while there. For about 3 weeks, it was sensational. Now I would just say it's pretty good. I felt better when I was eating ice cream.
Well, I had to unpack my skinny pants because I've dropped so much. My normal pants are falling off of me.
I don't have any skinny pants.
Maybe you should go get some.
But I was starting to say Bob Lassiter was not the only person. Maybe I just never looked at other people, but he had his eyelids were fat. That's why Guitar Man put that in the song there. He had fat eyelids. That's fat. And now, of course, he's dead. I just mentioned that. You know, all you porkers out there that think you can keep fooling Mother Nature forever. And he died a grotesque... he went out not well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sad.
Yep.
Anyway, here's the big story. This is what makes news in South Florida. Geldy. That makes news. Oh, my goodness. Sunrise Sports and Entertainment and Florida Panthers Chief Operating Officer Michael Yormark, before we get to Geldy. There actually is a story that combines the two, but that wouldn't take up as much time, and I sure don't want to do that. By Barry Jackass in today's Herald. And, you know, don't send it to me. I saw it. Oh, we have 1,476 MySpace friends, by the way, and I noticed during the summertime, a lot of them are missing. They're MIA, baby, missing in action. A lot of my close personal friends.
Got the hell out of here.
Or maybe, do you think it's because I'm only on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the summer? Is that it?
Or maybe they got out of town like all the smart people.
Yeah, like me. Boy, I want to commiserate. Let me say it. I'm only on twice a week during the summer months, but those of you who have to be there during, especially this time, any time is bad enough, but during this time of the year, I send along my heartiest condolences. I feel for you. And there's some of you, I really do feel for you. Anyway, Michael Yormark, in conjunction with Primetime Media Group, announced yesterday that Sports Talk 790, the ticket, since when have they been Sports Talk? Well, where did that start?
You're asking me?
I thought we were Sports Talk. I thought they were just the ticket. Anyway, the ticket 790 will be the new home for the Florida Panthers hockey. The same games. And now, who wrote this crap in the Sun Sentinel? I want to see who wrote. It doesn't say. I don't blame you for being anonymous. The Panther hockey games in a market where the games got like shares at night on this station year after year, and we finally said that's the one thing you got to give high marks to Jolly Joe or whoever made that decision. Because even though it's sports, we don't want it. Marlins, even though it's sports, after this season, we don't want it. Losing our ass on that crap. The ticket will be the new home for the Panthers hockey games. Out of the agreement, 790, the ticket will broadcast all 82 regular season games and playoff games through the 2009-2010 season. And as South Florida continues being a bastion of mediocrity, wait till you hear who they're considering to be the new broadcaster on radio since Geldy's going to TV. You're just going to cry. As the number one sports talk radio station in South Florida, 790 The Ticket is excited to be the home of the Florida Panthers, said the lying Joel Feinberg. Number one in what? In pygmies under 4 feet tall? What are you talking about, you fool, you idiot? You fairy. Joel Feinberg, president of 790 The Ticket, said, we look forward to a great partnership with a team that is poised to make a run at the Stanley Cup. I got news for you, baby. It's kind of hard to make a run at the Stanley Cup when you never make the playoffs, idiot, schmuck, schmendrick, schmagegi, schlemazel, idiot. He understands all those words. He's a Jew boy, like me. Do you know that?
Yes.
The new partnership also includes weekly Panthers team-related programming. Oh, that ought to get big numbers. And expanded exposure for the many entities associated with the Panthers and Sunrise Sports and Entertainment. The Panthers will air a 30-minute pregame show prior to all weekday games that begin with a 7:30 puck drop. As well, can call Joyce and see if we can say puck.
No.
As well as a 15-minute post-game wrap-up show. In addition, 790 The Ticket will air a 60-minute preseason special, a weekly 50-minute Panthers radio show that will include interviews with players, coaches, and team personnel, and a 1-hour Panthers Weekend Edition show. I wonder if my boy Stevie Weiss is going to be there, or maybe, what's his name, Bill Cosford. I can't believe that you forgot Bill Cosford. That's bad.
Sorry.
I mean, me forgetting it, that's because I'm almost on Social Security, for Christ's sakes. I'm a doddering old fool. Look who I work for. 790. Oh, and then it goes, this is a press release. This isn't an article written by some objective journalist. This is a press release. $7.90 the ticket is the South Florida market's only 24-hour sports station, which is a shot at me because during these 4 hours we have the highest rated numbers on either of the two stations. But of course, whoever wrote this can't be bothered to put that down.
You're a
there are
blemish.
More people who want to hear
You're
entertainment
a
radio
blight.
as opposed to just talking about the same jackasses with jockstraps over and over and over. And give me the ball, and I'd be illiterate.
You're
like
oozing boil on an otherwise pristine scene of sports.
And it says they're hosted by some of the most recognizable and respected names in South Florida sports, including Danny LaBastard Boy and Stu Gotts. Oh, yeah, I mean, you stop anybody on the street corner and say, hey, you know Stu Gotts? And they'll look at you and they'll probably shoot you. Sid Rosenberg, reviled by anybody even close to human. Boog Shambi, who I believe is leaving, I think. Joe Rose, who definitely is leaving. And Kevin Rogers, who stole my name.
Oh, God!
And it goes on about the programming with, this is just a puff piece. You know, it's really interesting how we put all these sports writers on the air on this station to destroy our ratings and to bore the audience, and yet the other place across the street, they get all the press. They get all the ink. We get the stink, they get the ink. Or as Jimmy Durante would say, the inka-dinka-doo. Well, was he a talent or what, huh?
No. I don't know.
Wore a nice hat, though, to cover the bald spot.
Had a big nose.
Had a huge schnoz, and he could really tinkle on that piano. I always respect guys who can tinkle on the piano.
Yeah, who can't?
Oh, man. And then, of course, well, after the break, we'll get to the thing about Geldy Geldstein. Now, let's see, is he on right now? Well, to give him a little bit of promotion, I think he's on right now until noon. If you like Geldy, turn over to 790. You'll love him. He's on there now. Talk about a stiff competitor. Aren't you scared that he's on over there against us now? They got Sid the Kid in the morning, and they got Geldy in there, and, of course, Joe Rowe as well.
I'm freaked out.
Yeah.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I'd be terrified to have to be up against the Geldemeister. Maybe he can do a lot of hockey talk. But we'll get to that after the break, because I know it's very important stuff. It's about sports. Even though, of course, nobody in South Florida gives a flying crap about hockey, because, I don't know, are they too stupid to understand it? Too lazy to go and learn something about a real sport with real men?
Into the corner. More of the Canadian Panthers and right in front of the net.
Well, there you go. Let's get some Leafs-Canadians hockey from 100 years ago with Bill Hewitt. Let's get that on there.
I'm watching them, Johnson.
See, we got hot. What did he say? Something about your Johnson? Oh, we can't put that on here. If you don't like that game. Oh, this one's in commercial. I'm sure we got more here on Leafs TV. There you go. No, that's Little League. Kind of like the Panthers, minor league. Yeah, they're going to make a run. They're poised to make a run at the Stanley Cup. Joel, I think you're suffering from the runs is what I think. I think you're a crazy person. Like that. Yeah, that's quite a coup that they got. And when they get the Marlins, boy, they put that together with the Panthers. Then they've got a really 1-2 punch. You know what I'm saying? Although I don't think they'll get a 1 or a 2 with the Panthers. More like a 0. But that's okay. They're kind of used to that.
Start to slam dunk childhood obesity. This station presents Shaquille O'Neal's Big Challenge Tip of the Day.
Hey, kids. Instead of eating them ho-hos, why not eat an apple?
Stay tuned to this station for another Shaquille O'Neal's Big Challenge Tip of the Day.
10:45. Oh, speaking of him. No, not him, Geldy. Sunrise Sports and Entertainment, and this is just another press release. Steve Geldy Geldstein named FSN Florida play-by-play voice, Florida Panthers. Michael Yormark announced yesterday that Panthers radio broadcaster Steve Geldy Geldstein's been named as the team's new TV play-by-play voice. He'll team with 4-time Stanley Cup champion and Hall of Fame goofball Denny Potvin, real dumb frog, on FSN Florida when the puck drops for the 2007-2008 season, October 4th at Madison Square Garden at MSG. The Panthers return to South Florida for their home opener at the Yenta Center Saturday, October 6, 7 p.m. against the New Jersey Devils. Geldy has been a trusted voice in South Florida hockey since the team's inception. We feel that this is a natural progression for him, said Yormark. A trusted voice. What does that mean?
I trust him.
You trust him? You trusted, squeaky voice. He's done a tremendous job on our radio broadcasts over the past 2 years, bringing to the airways a passion and dedication that resonates with our listeners. On top of that, Geldy's commitment to the South Florida community has been proven through years of volunteerism and fundraising, which is something that is imperative with our organization. That's what's important with the organization. Not winning games, not getting to the playoffs, not rewarding the long-suffering fans with a really quality product on the ice, but that's imperative to our organization. Steve is a terrific talent, and the South Florida personality who knows hockey, the NHL, and most importantly the Panthers very well, said Kathy Whedon Sr., Vice President and General Manager of FSN Florida and Sun Sports. We're excited to have a person of Steve's abilities available, ready to take over the play-by-play mic on FSN Florida. Geldstein, 37, spent the last 2 years as the radio play-by-play voice of the Florida Panthers. Prior to being named the radio voice, he spent the previous 9 seasons as host of the Panthers pre- and post-game shows. In addition, he served as the in-arena studio host and provided the Yenta Center crowd with intermission updates throughout the game. He also currently serves as a radio host on Sports Talk 790 The Ticket. It doesn't say a word in here. Oh, there it was. It's right in the ass end about how he used to be on this station. The Florida Panthers organization's been wonderful to work for, and I'm very pleased to get this new opportunity, said Gildy. I really enjoyed my last 2 seasons working on the radio broadcast team along with Randy Moeller and Jesse Agler. Now my focus turns to making our fans who are watching at home get a sense of the excitement that Panthers hockey has to offer as they disappoint once again, season after season, for a very good reason. Now, let's see. Somewhere in one of these articles, and I guess I skipped over it in the previous article, they're considering for the play-by-play to replace Gildy on radio, Randy Moeller, a goofball. I mean, just totally, absolutely, this idea that guys who did color, and did it very weekly, too, by the way, are going to be play-by-play guys. It's, again, part of the jockocracy and part of the watering down of what used to be a great industry, sportscasters, even though George, wouldn't know anything about that. But, there used to be some really great people, and now, who's this naked guy they got there in a towel on the beach? You see that on CNN? Boy, he sure looks pretty good to me. Take that towel off, and let's see what he's hiding under there. Let's see if he's a pistol-packing mama. Or something like that. Remember that song? Of course not. 677 votes on the poll. What do you think, Chris? What's our goal today? 850?
About 700.
Yeah, that's safe. What's the worst thing about your boss? I have a great boss, 198. Well, yeah, we're very happy for you. I like that. I am the boss, 167. Well, good for you. Goody gumdrop. He's an a-hole, 88. He doesn't support his people, 59. He's not as qualified as me, 42. He's ungrateful. He's an ungrateful son of a bitch, 38. He's cheap. You know how many people say he's cheap?
About 30, man.
He takes credit for the work of others, 29. He's a meddler, 20. And he's incompetent, 6. Well, that's 0.8. That's more than the Panthers are going to get over there across the street. I'm thinking they're going to get like 0.3s and 0.4s maybe. And don't you think that's the question of why they signed for that crap for the Panther broadcast on radio when nobody listens? Isn't that the question? What's the point?
It's a good question.
And I'll tell you what the point is. That's the little dot, the little decimal in front of the number that they're going to have. In front of the 1 or the 2 or the 3. Or maybe in front of the... could be a point like we had there that 1 hour. In the winter book. Remember 11 o'clock at night? We had a 0.0, 1 hour, 11 to midnight. We had that means nobody's listening. That means it's just like an exercise, like a dry run. Ever have the dry runs?
Yeah.
678 votes on the poll, on our award-winning poll here on NeilRogers.com. We should mention that more often. And I think the real goal is to get, by the end of this week, we'd like to get to 1,500 MySpace friends on there. It's probably not a good idea because during the summertime. And you people that send in the, applying to be friends or friend requests with no picture, forget about it. I don't even waste my time with those anymore. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
I don't look to see if there's a profile or if they're not going to take the time and the trouble to put a picture on there to identify themselves as a living, breathing human being, I turn it down. No way, go away, like that. And then there are those people who send me, messages on there. Neil, I'd sure like to be one of your friends here on MySpace. Could you tell me how I do it? Have you ever seen any of those?
No.
How do I go about doing that? Probably where it says friend request on there, have somebody read it to you and then finger it out. But there are, a lot of nice people on there, too. Well, the story that people ought to be talking about, but they won't because it's very bad for business. Negotiators completed a historic deal Saturday evening that settles the legal claims of more than 500 victims of alleged sexual abuse by clergy in the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Los Angeles. And, of course, they have to put in the L.A. Times, or the New York Times, alleged sexual abuse, because we know that these things don't really happen in the real world. And certainly not the little boys, the altar boys being molested.
There's no fact in the church.
That is for damn sure. Just go to Hialeah and they'll be screaming that in the streets. A lot of screamers there, especially at Westland in JCPenney, doing the limbo rock in the tea room, crawling underneath the bathroom stalls, and doing really nifty stuff. The total is $660 million. You realize that there's a total now of almost $3 billion they paid out because of these pedophiles?
Right. That's
pedophile priests. Almost $3 billion now.
That's a lot.
And I want you to stop and think about the enormous number of Catholics living in a lot of impoverished countries, like in Latin America, for example.
It's good that they suffer. It helps them go to heaven when you suffer.
Is that what it is? Well, that's good. Because that $3 billion probably could put like some dog food on their table or something like that for Pedro, The total is $660 million, by far largest of any settlement nationwide from the 5-year-old clergy abuse scandal. Representatives of both the church and victims confirmed the average payout will be in excess of $1.3 million. The settlement is complete, announced Raymond Boucher, the lead attorney for victims. Boucher. Frog. Some of the victims have waited more than 5 decades for a chance at reconciliation and resolution. This is a down payment on a debt long overdue, he said. All those fancy schmancy words. The deal comes as the church and its insurers faced trial yesterday for the first of the claims by 14 men alleging the church failed to protect them as boys from molestation by a parish priest. Cardinal Roger Mahoney, who's a real dingbat of Los Angeles, could not be reached, but his chief attorney, J. Michael Hennigan, had confirmed the agreement was imminent earlier in the evening. It was imminent. Parish assets will not be touched, and the mission of the church will be impacted but not crippled, he said. Well, that's really unfortunate that it will not be crippled, that we can't put these bastards, these grave robbers, these child molesters out of business once and for all. Hennigan said the church will pay $250 million in cash, with the balance coming from insurers and religious orders. Boucher credited Mahoney with his willingness to release key church documents in the cases, saying his action was vital in resolving the litigation. Boucher said release will be subject to objections by individual priests. Hey, Father, can you help an old altar boy, Father? You pervert. No, I take that back. Perverts, I admire perverts. Well, there's another word. You phony, you hypocrite, you bastardo, you...
You fairy.
That's good. The settlement we formally announced, I guess it already has been. Earlier, Boucher is representing 242 of the plaintiffs in the L.A. cases, and his co-counsel Lawrence Drevon, or is that Drive On? Drive On, Lawrence. Said in the telephone interviews with the Times that the deal was imminent but cautioned it could still dissolve. Well, it's all done. This article is from over the weekend. That's why there are sentences in here that seem like, past due, expired. Kind of like those people we were talking about, expired. Like poor Bill Cosford. Well, he was a good guy. Not just because he was a big fan of mine. One time he wrote a whole column, just about my broadcast of Hurricane baseball. Remember that?
No.
No, it's before your time. That was on WJ Snooze. He wrote a whole column about that.
And if it had been during my time, I still wouldn't have remembered because it was about Hurricanes baseball.
Well, I take that as a personal shot. Boy, I'm getting attacked all over the place today.
I'm not attacking you.
On me. When I'm really down, my friends are turning on me badly. I feel really bad. You believe me?
No.
Anyway, Drive On said the primary motivation for the Archdiocese to settle, that is substantially likely, if they didn't resolve the cases, they're going to get hit for more than $650 million. In the past 5 years, the Archdiocese of Miami has settled more than 40 sex abuse suits for millions of dollars. Jeffrey Herman, a South Florida attorney, represented plaintiffs in some of those cases, said the settlement being discussed in L.A. reverberates with him in many ways. This is a victory for the victims. It's holding the Archdiocese responsible for the victims, Herman said, but it's not a happy day or celebration because the horrors were too much. And it goes on at great length, but then again, this is just like we told you before, tip of the iceberg, and every once in a while, it spurts out, so to speak. It spurts out, and the media grabs a hold of it, and they put it in, and for a little bit here, a little bit there, and they put the spotlight on, and then it's back off again, back into the darkness, Back into the darkness. Doug Thompson's got a good column, but how unusual is that? That's not unusual. Angry words over an emotional issue about the debate between Lindsey Graham and Jim Webb. Lindsey Graham, he's a drooling yahoo, you know that. Lindsey Graham, the old boy. If I could begin to tell you what I feel about yahoos, man, it's just it's not a good thing. I should probably do something to deal with that, shouldn't I? Should I get like therapy or something to deal with my feelings about yahoos?
No, you just roll with it. Just go with it.
Roll with the bunches?
That's right.
686 on the poll. Chris says we can make 700 a day if we really push it. We're pushing it. Like Howard Snellenberger would say, we're pushing it.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Al Gore is back with a frightening new movie every parent should see.
It is our children who are the most affected by global warming. Greenhouse gases lead to red eyes, cotton mouth, and sadly, the munchies.
An inconvenient arrest.
Leading scientists agree CO2 in the air makes it impossible to see the speedometer. That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
An inconvenient arrest. The planet is suffering, and Al Gore has the prescription, even if other family members don't.
There are 12 steps we can take to fix things like using low-carbon rolling papers and driving at slower speeds like under 100 miles per hour on short trips. And
Yo, Dad! Dad, I've got a cool idea for the movie poster. It's penguins, right? But they're like in the desert, man.
Well, thanks for showing up, Al Jr. Once again, you've got perfect timing.
An inconvenient arrest. It's time to bust global warming and get it some treatment.
Yeah, bad timing there, but, when politicians' kids and celebrities' kids and they do stuff like that, it's just, we just look the other way and ignore it. Like Manny Diaz's son, I was printing the counterfeit money, and who else was it that had a little pot in New York? Whose kid was that?
Oh, Chief Timony's son. It wasn't
That's
a little.
Chief Timony, Chief Timony.
Giant bag of it that I wish I had.
Chief Tim had the money.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted lots of money for that pot. But, we get a little bit on that, like I said, and they gloss over, and then we go back to important stuff like Paris Hilton.
Before I forget to tell you, and thank you, Sal, for sending me the link to the video for Read a Book that I just sent you. Forwarded along.
Really?
And if you think the song is funny,
wait till you see it.
Just wait.
Well, I mean, I didn't I see it? I think I did.
The video? No, that was a loop that somebody made.
Oh, that's right, that was a loop.
They took clips from Reading Rainbow and spliced them together to the music. That was completely different. This is the actual music video.
Now, have you been playing this, or
no?
Are you...
No, I have not. So go nuts.
Why not? Because you're letting other people tell you how to do the show. Let me give you a little on-air advice, okay?
No, that's not why.
Do not listen to Chris.
You play it enough for the both of us.
Do not listen to Miguel, and that's why he's not there anymore, because he was giving you bad advice. And because he wouldn't kiss up to Clarence. Of course, who the hell would kiss Clarence when you come right down to it? What a thought that is. Oh, my God.
Beast.
The Beast, yeah. I forgot about that.
It's Chris with a line. Look at that.
Yeah, nice going, Chris. That almost makes up for the fact that you've been bad-mouthing me behind my back.
Never.
Talking behind my back, but there's a lot of that going on. That's what I'm hearing.
I know.
Anyway, can I read the Doug Thompson piece? This is not going to be a good day for me to be reading a lot of articles, and it's only 11:03, so I'm hoping you have a lot of really good grade A material, and I know you don't. So.
Right.
Well, what does that mean?
I don't.
Well, why not? Oh, there's Senator Vitter again, apologizing for what he didn't do, by the way.
Apologies
David
to all
Vitter.
those I have let down and disappointed.
Another yahoo. Another hypocritical
yahoo.
yahoo. Phony baloney, dipping his wick wherever he can. There's his nasty-looking wife standing there looking very distressed. Oh, he's got me. What does he need that bitch for? He's got me. Hey, honey, I can see what he needs a little on the side for.
Because the other bitch will do some things that you won't.
That's right. Good golly, Miss Molly. She's as nasty, pasty as it gets. Anyway, remember Pasty Klein? She's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Angry words over an emotional issue, writes Doc Thompson in Capitol Hill Blue. He says, ordinarily, Sunday's news talk shows bore the hell out of me. Me too, Doug. Most of the time we get nothing but partisans from each side spouting carefully rehearsed talking points in monotone. Monotone, like Kimba Beaucamp, monotone. Sunday's Meet the Press, however, broke out of the ordinary with an incredible display of anger between opposing sides on the Iraq War, reflecting in large part the anger that has split this country because of a despotic president who sent American men and women off to die for a war based on lies. A despotic president. I like that. I don't like him, but I like the word. Freshman Democratic Senator Jim Webb faced off against Republican Senator drooling Lindsey Graham in a fiery debate that showcased the difference between the anger that drives the majority of this nation and the lockstep ignorance of the GOP sycophants who still defend W and his failed war in Iraq. At times it seemed the two might come to blows. Webb had every reason to deck the obnoxious, sniveling Graham. I admire his control. I would have kicked Graham's teeth down his lying throat.
Excellent.
I would have paid a lot of money to see that.
I would have chipped in.
You would have what? Oh, chipped in. I thought you said something else.
Yeah.
Graham, as desperate as any Republican who must still try to find a way to defend the immoral and illegal actions of an out-of-control president, twisted the facts, manufactured the data, and lied outright. Just like Joel Feinberg's lying about that whole Panther deal there. Oh, yeah. The organization, they're going to make the playoffs. Stanley Cup, run my ass, Joel. You're so full of it, man. It's coming out of your earlobes. Anyway, Graham claimed a carefully staged ceremony of 600 American troops reenlisting in Iraq was an indicator of overwhelming support of the war by rank-and-file soldiers, when in fact reenlistments are down across the board, and more troops fight being sent back for fourth and fifth deployments in a war that cannot be won. I was in Baghdad on July 4th this year, Graham said. We had the highest reenlistment, the largest reenlistment ceremony in a wartime environment known to our country. That's because the military bugged reenlistments over the past several months into one ceremony, a fact not mentioned in the Armed Services press release. What the hell could this be on here? It's more propaganda. It's spam is what it is. Need to go away. Don't bother me with your crap. The ceremony was a propaganda event that overlooked a drop in reenlistments across all the military services, along with a dramatic decrease in numbers of those joining services for the first time. The Army recently dropped its recruitment guidelines to allow convicted felons to serve, a move that has outraged those currently in uniform. At another point, Graham said, I'm going to listen to General Petraeus. I'm not going to let any politician take the place of the general. He repeated the phrase several times, ignoring the fact that it's a politician named George W. Bush who tells him, the generals, and everyone else that I run this war. Another exchange between the two. Webb says less than half of the military believes we should be in Iraq in the first place. Graham says, have you been to Iraq? Have you been and talked to them? I've been 7 times. Webb says, have you ever been? I've covered 2 wars as a correspondent. Senator Graham, have you been to Iraq? Webb, I've been to Afghanistan as a journalist. Graham, have you been to Iraq? And have you been to Iraq and talked to the soldiers? Webb, you haven't been to Iraq. Graham, I've been there 7 times. Webb says, you go to see the dog and pony shows. Graham says, I've been there as a reservist. I've been there. I'm going back in August. Webb says, yeah, that's what congressmen do. Yeah, I have been a member of the military when the senators come in. Graham says, well, listen, something we can agree on. We both admire the men and women in uniform. I don't doubt your patriotism. Webb, don't put political words in their mouth. Graham says, my election, and Webb interrupts, says, you do it. You've been doing it ever since I've been in Congress. Doug Thompson goes on to say that Graham is and always has been a slimy son of a bitch, a dirtbag lawyer who tried to double dip as a military attorney while serving in Congress. A court forced him to give up one job or the other, and he chose Congress. In cases like this, he says, I'll trust the judgment of Webb, a decorated Vietnam veteran who served as Secretary of the Navy and Assistant Secretary of Defense. His son was deployed to Iraq, which gives him another source for what soldiers are saying and thinking. He knows a hell of a lot more about combat than a desk-bound former JAG lawyer. After putting up with Graham's tirades, Webb summed up the situation when he said, I'll let the American people judge what you said. According to the polls, Doug Thompson says, most of them already have. Even though most of them are dumber than sawdust and slow as molasses on a bad day, they finally figured it out. It's bad. 7-0-something, babe. We got 704. Chris, you said we can make 700 today?
Then we got our goal.
I think now that we got 700, time to go home.
Have a nice day.
Sounds like a plan to me. See you guys. Let's let George do the rest. He's got all these stories to tell about his big date coming up.
Got some music going to play? Oh, I thought we were going home, too. Oh, we can't all go home? I'm going to play Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
We got to have somebody there to fill the breach, especially with that stiff competition we got across the street now. My God, it's when I was a little kid, and I'm sure a lot of the people listening, not George, because George is anti-sports. When I was a little kid, we used to flip baseball cards.
Let's get this clear. I played everything that you've ever heard of. I just don't like to watch other people do it. Banjo.
Yeah.
That too. I used to pitch pennies. I played marbles. We talked about that yesterday. Cards?
No, if you weren't a baseball fan, then why would you buy baseball cards?
To flip them, to trade them.
Oh. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that's what this reminds me of, what's going on with these 2 radio stations, Because
and I used to care about sports, and then I discovered girls.
I used to care about it a lot more than I do now, but since working at QM, I've gotten turned off so bad on it. Other than my obsession with hockey and the NFL, the rest of it, they can take it and stick it in the desert and don't give any of them a mat. Baseball, forget about it. Golf, talk about I have no life. That's a sport?
Wow.
What are we really talking about? I love when we get going with the golf tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
That's heavy-duty stuff.
Gads.
And, of course, right now, it's the dog days. It's the 17th of Julio. Who the hell cares about anything that's going on right now? There is, And, of course, the NBA, there's always that. Seriously, I'm just turned off on it by people who are so obsessed. Don't you understand, you guys? This is the important stuff. You're just a filler there. You're just an impediment to our nonstop. And, of course, you keep in mind over the years, there have been a few occasions when there were things, important press conferences that we had to put on the air, like with Dave Wannstedt. Remember the Wannstedt era? And with Nick Saban. Remember the Saban era?
Mm-hmm. The Saban era?
Trying to forget. Yeah. And we have to interrupt to get a very important press conference on the air to announce something that everybody already knows anyway. Because it has to do with a ball game, with guys that take showers together naked, with guys that slap each other in the ass with towels, with guys who pat each other on the ass out there in the field in front of living and breathing people, with guys who are readjusting their crotch out there on the field while people are looking on. Millions are watching and they're diddling around in their crotch, in their jock. I think that's why a lot of these guys watch it. That's why Clarence watches it. He said there's nothing in the world that gets him more excited than watching some hot-looking jock readjusting his cup. In fact, Clarence says when that happens, his cup runneth over. Remember Ed Ames?
Who?
Ed Ames and Peter North Deals. 716 on the poll. They're starting to come in chunks now. Maybe there's an outside shot at that 1,000 today. I remember that one day a week or two ago. Remember when we absolutely had no chance, and we pulled it off. Remember that, Chris?
Oh, it was a great thing.
George wouldn't because he's, he's playing hard-ass on this. He's like Joe Daggiola would say, good old country hardball. Good old country hard. Joe Daggiola. Yeah. The extraordinary illiterate Joe Daggiola, who made a fortune broadcasting when he can't even speak. That's the best part of it. And then, of course, there was always Dizzy Dean, who talked about the base runner slud into third. He slud into third and slud into home. And slud and slad and slod. Illiteracy, baby, that's what it's all about. America's desperation for mediocrity. That's where it's at. That's why maybe Randy Red Deer Moeller is going to do the Panther games on the radio. And you know something? I will actually listen to a few minutes of that. I can't wait to hear that, Randy. I can't wait to hear you pretend to be a play-by-play broadcaster. Wow, wouldn't that be something? Like they couldn't go out and hire somebody. Like Ken Wilson or like a real...
For the Maple Leafs, he turns around at center, a pass over to Eamon. Got the puck into the corner. Plant comes out of the net. Johnson takes it. Johnson stopped by Eamon. And
there's good old number 27, the big M, Frank Mahovlich on the ice. Let's get hockey intensive. What do you say? Now that the Panthers are going across the street, let's get to the good stuff. What do you say?
Okay.
Hockey intensive. 12 minutes after 11 at 560. Now, do I sound extra bitter today, or is that just because I'm incoherent?
No, you're sweet and sour as usual.
As usual, good. Sweet and sour, as in pork. 716 votes on the poll. Chris thinks we can make it to 1,000. I think you're a fool. But then again, I thought that before you said we can make it to 1,000.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
Were you drudge packing?
Mike Tyson's been a hit in the ring in Bollywood, and now he's hitting the Great White Way. Don't miss Tyson on Broadway.
Memory of all of my felonies, all alone in this cop car for attacking some guy.
It's the role he's been waiting to sink his teeth into. Tyson on Broadway.
If I was a witch man, which I was, but ain't no more because of lawsuits and the IRS.
Say yes to an evening with Mike Tyson because he still doesn't understand the word no.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I could do more prison time than you. I'm still a registered sex offender. I can offend more sex than you. Thank you. I'll be available in the lobby between shows to sign autographs and eat your children. Little joke there, folks.
It will knock you out. It's Mike Tyson on Broadway. Get your tickets now.
Limited engagement, scheduled 15 rounds.
11:18 at 560 WQM. I'll tell you one thing. I sound pretty good today, though, for a guy who's incoherent.
Yeah, you don't look so bad either.
I look just like me, That's not so good. 728 votes on the poll, so the professor says we ought to add to the poll. Workaholic is what he says.
Sure, Chris had that.
Had what? You had what?
I said add that.
Chris had that? That's what you said.
Had
didn't say Chris had that. He said Chris had that. What did he say?
I said add.
He said Chris had that.
I said Chris
like a disease, like leprosy. Chris had leprosy, and you let him... I think we ought to, quarantine him. Like when the SARS thing was going on here 3 summers ago, and there were idiots like George Corso, our chief engineer, running around, if Neil comes back to do shows here, we ought to make him go to quarantine for 10 days.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Not just for a few days, though.
No, for a few months sounds good to me. I was all for that, because then I couldn't have done any shows. I think you can add workaholic, but how about brutal taskmaster? Okay, master. Okay?
Taskmaster.
Tasker. Max Tasker.
Max Factor.
Rich Pachter. Now you're talking. What the hell are we talking about? The fact that I couldn't remember Bill Cosper, that should, what should happen at that point in the show? Buzzer goes off, Neil goes back to bed. There should be an automatic thing built into the transmitter. You are too incoherent today to continue doing 4 hours of this swirl, okay, Neil? Just go back to bed, get some rest. Brutal taskmaster. Are you going to put that on there?
Sure.
Because what the professor says, he makes his boss makes all the help feel like slackers for not working as much as he does, or leaving on time, or taking a sick day. In other words, not sticking around and working long hours afterward like their job is their entire life, which I don't know. And I got news for you. If your job is in your entire life, you know what you're really saying?
I have no life.
That's correct. Like if this were my entire life, I'm looking out the window right now, I would in my underwear, in my boxer shorts, I would dance out of the balcony and just climb over the rail and bada bing, right there, that's it. If this was my entire life.
What a thought.
Yeah. I mean, like in your case, you're so desperate you're trying to date Josh Cordes' girlfriend now.
What do you mean trying? I'm gonna take her out on Friday.
Take her out for what? Vodka?
A romantic dinner. Yeah, probably incorporate some vodka, and then we're going to go to a club.
You're romancing the stoned?
That's the best thing to do. It's the best kind of person to romance. And we're going to go out, maybe dancing somewhere, and
See, you and I have a different opinion about that. Now, to me, and of course, I view it more objectively because I'm not trying to get in any of these chicks' pants.
Mm-hmm.
But women who are drunks, to me, are just such an incredible turn-off.
No. It's when they're drunk.
All you hetero guys, that's the best.
It's about when they are drunk. You don't want somebody that's drunk all the time, just during a very important time. Like Friday night.
Yeah, like when you want it.
That's right.
Now, what is Josh saying about this, by the way? Well,
He's wishing me the best of luck.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wishing you the best of luck of what, in the sack?
Well, we don't know where it's going to end up.
Oh, I know where it's going to end up. I don't think I can say that word on the air. Oh, I can't say it.
Rectum.
No.
Really? I didn't even plan that.
No. That was as in, with a W, as in rectum.
Rectum?
Wait, what? I get
Rectum? Hell, it damn near killed him.
Yeah, as in that kind of a wreck.
It'll be worth
like in a car wreck. Like
we already discussed that. He's not going to hit me.
That movie's been making the rounds on cable again, and I haven't watched it again. As much as I love that movie, I watched it about 5 times, I would say. And that was enough. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the days back when I was taking stupid calls. I don't want to take any calls for the rest of my life.
Thank you.
But I remember those days. Remember we had several people calling me, "Oh, The Crash sucks, Neil. It's a bad movie."
Yeah.
And anybody who would say that is intellectually challenged.
Totally went over their head.
People who would say that are eating gallons of vanilla ice cream without anything on it. I think I'd have a lot more energy if I went and got a
tub of vanilla ice cream,
or a Briar Score ice cream and ate it right
No, I don't. It'll make you sick.
And when in doubt, I could stroke out right on the show. Wouldn't that be good?
No.
When in doubt, stroke out. 741 votes. I think if we get to about 800 by noon, I think you got it made, Mr. Hotshot Chris.
I think so.
Because I think then they'll really put on the full court press. As they say in basketball, in the round ball business, give me the ball, give me the ball. I can't speak, but give me the ball. I like wearing my icy hot sleeve myself, don't you? Aren't you big into the icy hot sleeve? 741 votes on the poll. Now, he's a workaholic nun, but he's a brutal taskmaster, too. You see, that's why I'm the poll expert, Professor. He's a workaholic nun, because that suggests that he works his ass off while the hired hands are like sitting back on their hands, on their ass, on their...
rectum.
Right. Is that correct?
Yep.
I know my pool business, mister. Let me tell you that.
Oh, there's no argument there.
Yeah. Worst thing about your boss, I have a great boss. I don't even like this poll when you come right down to it. If we get 1,000 in this poll, it'll be a major miracle. Okay, un miracle. Is that how you say it?
You're asking me?
What do you mean I'm asking you?
In Spanish, miracle, miracle?
Espanol, pick it upon.
Oh, I've never heard that word in Spanish.
Come on, your people are going to turn on you now.
It's milagro. It's milagro. It just occurred to me. Milagro.
What?
Milagro. Milagro.
Viagra? That sounds southern.
Yeah. Well, I'm in this southern kick lately.
Oh, on the bio. How's Bayou?
Yeah.
On the bio. Everybody ought to see Southern Comfort. If you want to see a good movie that should tell you what's wrong with a big part of America, watch Southern Comfort, okay? And you'll find out who put the lose in Louisiana.
K. John Fong.
Yeah, K. John, meaning dumb. What's the word? And you know something? Sometimes the Lord, He works in mysterious ways. Maybe that was His punishment for Louisiana, for them being so many stupid people there, like the mayor, Ray Nogginhead. What's the worst thing about your boss? I have a great boss, 216. Well, we'd like to know who your boss is and who you people are, because, boy, we're sure jealous of that. Not that we have a bad boss. Would you say we have a bad boss? Well, you would, yeah. Because he hates you.
That's not why he's a bad boss.
Well, why is he a bad boss? Because he's incompetent?
Because they like to put programming on the air that's guaranteed to fail, and they like to pay a lot of money for it. They don't know what's good. They don't know the difference between good and bad.
He's basically destroyed and now trying to put the pieces back together again.
And they're doing everything in their power to destroy this show.
He's trying to put Greg's... yeah, that's true. Him and Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a paper tiger.
Sure.
See, we could put that on there, but I don't think that most bosses are paper tigers. They're just figureheads, who have no authority because they got some bitch like Joyce over there in Naples who calls all the shots. And he just like, oh, Joyce, which hand do I wipe with today, Joyce? I have a great boss, 216. He means well, I'm convinced of that. Not. I am the boss, 182. If he meant well, he wouldn't be firing people like Miguel and bringing in cronies from Raleigh, North Carolina. So they can get their buddies to go out there and get the Humvee towed away and get fired, you know. Now, that was perfect. Don't you think that was really justice? It was great. All right, guess what's on all this week? I'm not even sure what channel I'm watching it on, but the unedited, unexpurgated Godfathers, Uno, Dos, and Tres are all on there. I forget what channel is showing that. No commercials, commercial-free, amazing. Aren't you watching it?
No.
I am the boss, 183. I guess I got to play Frankie Pentangeli. Because that was on the first one. And Frankie said...
I kept saying... Michael Corleone did this, and Michael Corleone did that. So I said, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
He was great. I know I've said that a million times before, but he was great. People that deserve credit and don't get it, and that's because he was surrounded by so many other giants in that film, and in them films, like Sofia Coppola. The boss, my boss, he's an a-hole, 96. He doesn't support his people, 61. He's not as qualified as me, 43. Well, that's for damn sure. Our boss, he couldn't do a talk show if you put a gun up his... Well, he's ungrateful, 42. He's cheap, 36. He takes credit for the work of others, 31. Don't they all? They all do that. You work your ass off, and the boss says, oh, look at this. We got a great book. Oh, am I a genius or what? Ho, ho, ho. Like Greg Reed. There was a real... Oh, my God. He's a meddler, 22. He's incompetent, 13. He's a brutal taskmaster, 2. And he's a workaholic, 1. I have a feeling I know where that vote came from.
Thank it, baby.
Yeah! Ain't ready. What's up, y'all? This your boy D Mike.
I just watched the video, but I love it.
Songs with like hooks and concepts and shit, right? But that, man, I'm trying to go platinum. Some about the rock this. Check this out, y'all. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Book, read a book, read a book, read a book. Book, read a book, read a book, read a book. Book, read a book, read a book, read a book. Book, R-E-A-D-S-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-S-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-S-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-S-B-O, okay. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book.
Don't forget, be sure and tune in Tuesdays and Thursdays when I'm on all summer long, because George on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is too much of a wuss to play that because there are people giving him bad advice.
Sure, that's it.
In spite of the fact that you're the one who did the incredible, the amazing editing job on that thing. Shocking. 767, we went from a 747 to a 767, which, quite frankly, is a step down.
Yeah.
Can you understand where that whole deal came from with the huh?
Explain it to me.
747, well, 737 we know is like a puddle jumper. No, not a puddle jumper, but, the smallest of the bunch. And then your big 747 like the double-deckers. And 757. And 767, which is like, if your airline wants to treat you like crap, they'll fly to Europe on that, If you want to go in real style, you'll go like on a 747, like in the upper deck. And if you're really lucky, maybe Todd Dreck will be in the upper deck. And if you're really, really lucky, maybe somebody will throw him out before the plane takes off. And like the 777, now, have you ever flown on one of those? Well, what am I asking you for? Those are really neat. Those are great. And what's the new one now? The 787?
You're asking me?
That's a nifty plane. I'm going to hop on one right now and fly somewhere. Just take me somewhere. 767 boats. Let's see. Brutal Taskmaster 3 and a Workaholic 1 on those new additions to our pool. If we can just get a little over 800 by the top of this hour, by noon, when the little hand strikes the big hand, we can make that 1,000 today. And if that happens, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking tomorrow off.
Okay.
How's that? And Thursday.
No.
And next Tuesday.
No.
And Thursday. And then after that. If we can make 1,000 today, boy, that'll be something. I mean, you don't think so because you're just not impressed. You're just a hard ass. And I can understand with a miserable life like you got.
Yeah.
David Vitter, Republican of Louisiana. By the way, MSNBC, they were, this keeps happening, and it's always the same thing. It's always some disgraced Republican, and it was Fox that did it last year with somebody, I forget who the hell it was, and they put Democrat of so-and-so, what state, and it come to find out it's Republican, of course. And they did the same thing with David Vitter. On one of the crawls, they had David Vitter, Democrat of Louisiana. Well, hey, you people at MSC, whatever you are, go to hell. No wonder nobody watches your crap. David Vitter broke his week-long silence yesterday and spoke publicly about being linked with a so-called D.C. Madam. Remember the Madam?
Yeah. Waylon Flowers?
What was she?
A puppet?
No, sir, no, not that Madam. Not Waylon and Jennings. And the Madam on the radio.
No.
Are you serious? I'm on FM, on I-95 or one of those stations. Then she went to New York. She was on K-Rock. She was on the Stern station. The Madam. What?
I said, sorry.
Oh, what about Bill Cosby? Appearing alongside his pasty, nasty-looking wife, Wendy, Vitter seemed to lay blame on the media and appeared to be trying to come off as a victim when he talked about how hard the media scrutiny had been on his family. How hard was it, David? MSNBC Hardball host Chris Matthews characterized Vitter as contemptuous and angry. Contemptuous. I like that. I would like to have heard him say that, Chris Matthews. Can you imagine him pronouncing that word?
I'd rather not.
I'd rather hear him talk about politics. If this is what they waited a week to come up with, said Chuck Todd, NBC News political director, Vitter's part of it was borderline disastrous as far as political damage control. Earlier, Norman Robinson, anchor for the NBC affiliate WDSU in New Orleans, talked about how Vitter's remarks raised more questions about his conduct, including who paid for the sexual services and whether he broke the law. Oh, I thought if politicians pay for sex, it's okay. I forgot. Wendy Vitter did him a lot of good. He did himself very little good, said Todd. He only invited people to investigate more. He almost issued a challenge to the media. That always works really well. Ask Gary Hart about that. Always works really well. Ask Gary Hart and, what's his name? Fiedler. Tom Fiedler. Or Jay Fiedler. Remember Tom Fiedler with his yellow rubber raincoat?
No, Tom Fiedler.
The following, and then there's a video on here from, with Chris Matthews. The Pittsburgh newspaper, owned by conservative billionaire, the unctuous, the obnoxious, the unacceptable Richard Mellon Scaife, yesterday called the Bush administration's plan to stay the course in Iraq a prescription for American suicide. Wow. And whoever sent this in's got a note here on the top. It says, if one of the choices was I have no boss because I'm unemployed or retired, it would go to the top of the poll knowing QM's audience. Well, what does that mean? Our audience is old and retired? Who the hell sent this? Although I do appreciate the article. Also, you do sound a little grumpy today. You need to get your testosterone levels up. No, I need some sleep is what I need.
Yeah, maybe you need an injection.
I need some rejection. Oh, I've had plenty of that.
I'll bet.
But you know what? Doesn't bother me. I just move on to the next. That's the way it is. If you're smart, just move. Don't let rejection bother you, baby. Just as well. There's always more fish in a barrel. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I sound a little grumpy. I'm not grumpy. I just didn't get a lot of sleep. But that will end as of today. That's over. As I explained to you. 7:73 on the pool. We got 20 minutes for I don't know. I mean, it's ordinarily during like prime time, you know, like in the middle of December or something, or like in the middle of I mean, when is the season now? From like Christmas till Purim?
Right. Starting now.
The season used to be from like a little before Thanksgiving all the way like until May. That's when people used to be dumb enough to come to South Florida in droves. Oh, we got to get away from the snow and the bad weather. Right. The editorial in the Tribune Review in Pittsburgh added, and quite frankly, during last Thursday's news conference, when George Bush started blathering about sometimes the decisions you make and the consequences don't enable you to be loved, we had to question his mental stability. Oh, this is good. It continued, President Bush warns that U.S. withdrawal would risk mass killings on a horrific scale. What do we have today, sir? Sir? If the president won't do the right thing and end this war, the people must. The House has voted to withdraw combat troops from Iraq by April. The Senate must follow suit. Our brave troops should take great pride that they rid Iraq of Saddam Hussein, and they should have no shame in leaving Iraq, for it will not be in any way an exercise in tail tucking and running. You ever do any tail tucking? America has done its job, it says. Right.
Not tail tucking.
It's time for the Iraqis to do theirs. The editorial says it agrees with its local congressman on this, Democratic U.S. Representative John Murtha. Scaife has been a loyal backer of Republican politicians and many conservative, right-wing, rabid causes and funded a network of investigations into President Clinton during the 1990s. And if somebody as far to the right as Richard Mellon Scaife is calling this a disaster, a prescription for American suicide, you know that they got serious tourists at the White House. Serious tourists. You know what that means?
No.
Neither do I. 779 votes. We need to 21, and we'll get to 800, then you get to 900, then we'll make a run. Won't there be something if we make a run? Won't there be exciting in the 1 to 2 hour? And I think now, who's on from noon to after that over there? Do we know?
I don't.
No idea.
Who's on after Geldy? I think we're having some real problems today. That's what slowed the pull down, because now with Geldy on across the street against us, I think we're finished, man. 18 till noon at 560 WQM.
This is Brady Quinn. Whenever I shave my
balls, I'm ahead of myself.
I listen to Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
It will be soon.
Goodbye, old blue eyes. You finally died it. Welcome back to the Rat Pack as they chew you up from your kishkis to the worms in your tongue. Now that your life is done, you won't need your gun, cause Jilly's been busy stirring the sauce for you with a pound of cuckoo gabagoo. And you're appearing tonight at the Sands in the Sky to thank Jackie Kennedy. And Peter Lawford will know where all the other broads will be. And HBO will have movies about your life, and Tina can't complain about it anymore. What the hell for? You died. Goodbye, old blue eyes. Say hi to the guys and give our regards to Sammy G and Connor and Cartoon for saving your career by using his head. We packed your casket with some things that you ought to bring, like sock garters for Amaro, along with some booze for Dean and a pair of glasses for Mo Green. Wish you could shoot him 5 times, but look at who survived. Al Martino's still alive. And as for Joey, well, he's alive, but only looks like death. Have a too-cute groovy party and smack broads in the head. Don't need to fix elections anymore. Bada bing, Frankie O'Day.
786 votes on our world-famous poll about your boss. Is he an a-hole? Is he a great guy? Is he a piece of turd? What was your boss? That's the poll question. It's not a good poll, but it's the middle of July. What do you want? I'll tell you what's not good.
What?
This first fax you sent me.
Oh, yeah.
Another amateur program director here. Another jackass out there. Tell me how to do the show, what to play, what to say. Tell Boca Brian. That's why I played that bit there. Here's what the fax says. Neil, please stop playing read a book piece. No. It was funny the first time. It was even funny the 10th time. I'll go so far as to say the 20th time. But it's now been finally firmly rammed into the ground. It's gone past being even annoying. I know you'll ignore the plea. Oh, that's correct.
Absolutely correct, sir.
But I can't stand it anymore. When I hear it, my hand races for the volume or to change the station. It might be marginally less annoying were it not so long. Oh, and since we're on the subject, can we please tell Boca Brian that he's no longer allowed to use Candle of the Wind as a melody for his bits? Thanks. No, we can't tell him that. We won't tell him that. And I will play whatever the hell I want. And take your stupid ass back. In fact, take your hand right now and stick it where the moon don't shine. There's nothing wrong with that bit. You know who probably sent that? Chris. You told me he was out of the room there for a minute.
That was me.
He moves fast.
Not a damn thing. In fact, it's one of the few things that we can play anymore that gives me a chuckle. You know, all we can play is bland. We can't even play, for example. I just use this as an example. Ain't no fart sounds anymore. We can't even play that, for Christ's sakes. And you're telling me not to play one of the greatest pieces of swill we ever put on it? And the video, by the way, is spectacular.
Yeah, it is.
I've been sent it along to my close personal friend there.
Everyone should see it.
Everyone should see it, that's right. Here's a fax that says, George and Neil, you guys should probably know this, but just in case you didn't, here it is. Okay, here it is. David the whoremonger of Vitter, don't get bitter about David Vitter, was a vocal proponent for Clinton to resign and for his impeachment and said that he was morally unfit. But this piece of Republican trash, look at how they spelled resigning. Resignoing. R-E-S-I-G-N-O-I-N-G. Wow. Resignoing? No, he's not resignoing. Of course not. The Republican Party should be renamed the Do As I Say, Not As I Do Party. What a friggin' lying, a whoring piece of crap Vitter is. Wow, now I feel better, says P, whoever P is. Well, go take a good pee. You'll feel better. And go learn some spelling, too, will you, please? This is the most illiterate... he's got a good point, but illiterate. Dumb. Oh, speaking of that, conservative Christian group calls for a bitter resignation. They're bitter, those bitter Christians, man. There's nothing worse than a bitter Christian. Although we do like a bit of honey. 789, you think we get the 11 votes in 9 minutes, Chris? Not that it makes any difference, but psychologically it's a good step.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get it.
794, we only need 6 now in 9 minutes.
See, I told you.
You told me what?
That we'll get it.
You said we could make 1,000 today if we rigged it. That's what you said.
What are you talking about?
You said if we make 1,000 votes today, it's got to be fixed. It's like the election in Florida in 2000.
You're drunk.
It's like the election in 2004 in Ohio. Rigg did it. Remember Kathy Rigg?
Yeah, what about her?
Who the hell was she?
I don't know.
Some kind of a gymnast or something? Who was Kathy
Rigg? Gymnast, tennis player, who the hell knows? Some jockette.
Dyke?
Sure. Aren't they all?
See, now that sounds to me like a real shot. You don't even know who I'm talking about. Dyke.
No.
Right away, because it might have been a lady tennis player, you're saying Bull Dyke. Like Martina Navratilova. Like that. Or like that tree trunk, the one you love. Anna, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Anna Kournikova.
Anna Kournikova. As he remains in seclusion over the admission that he used a Washington escort service, Senator David Vitter is losing the support of his base, says Raw Story. It says it's pretty raw. Arguing for intellectual consistency, the Louisiana-based group, Christian Conservatives for Reform, have called on Senator Vitter to resign following revelations of his numerous trysts with D.C. escorts and frequent patronage of brothels. And if you had a wife that looked like that, you'd probably be patronizing anything that moved, okay? You'd be, you know what you'd be doing.
What?
It.
Oh, it?
The Reverend Grant Storms explained that when Bill Clinton fell, we said resign. When William Jefferson was indicted, we said resign. Now it's one of our people. We need to be consistent. Say, David, do the right thing and resign. Or is that resign? Come on, Neil, resign. Yeah, sign this. Vitter's office has said that he will be returning to Washington for votes in the Senate, but didn't specify when he'd be back. Although a colleague's been quoted as saying he would return as early as today. I don't know if he's back today because we haven't seen nothing about that. So CNN's trying to get us all whipped up about the National Intelligence Report on the terrorist threat, and they're going to kill us. They're coming to get us, Al-Qaeda. Okay. Al Goldstein, Al-Qaeda, Al Lewis. They're all coming. Al Lewis is dead, by the way. What a shame. Grandpa. Passengers at Bob Hope Airport in Burbank, California, being rescreened.
Apparently, inadvertently.
Oh, do I hate him? I hate
police activity there.
I hate him.
This happened about 8:10 a.m.
Smug. I don't like Smug.
And as a result, all the passengers, you see some of them outside of Terminal A
right
now, need to be rescreened. We understand that.
Yeah, screen this, okay? Screen him. Screen Tony Harris. Get him off my screen right now. Get him out of my life. Get him off my face. CNN, they're the Antichrist. I'm telling you right now. I guarantee you that if you go to the CNN, wherever they're broadcasting from in Atlanta, you'll find 666 on every desk. You'll find that somewhere. Don't you think?
Sure.
The Antichrist. El Anticristo está at CNN. CNN. See, I'm learning my Espanol.
Very good.
Oh, but the toll for my Espanol. Oh, boy. 800, Chris.
All
Passengers
right.
briefly evacuated there in Burbank, California. And we don't know why, because they're too busy moving on to some other crap now. You know, I mean, how about giving us a little something there to stink our teeth into? 800 votes, the worst thing about your boss. I have a great boss, 225. I am the boss, 202. Well, goody gug for you. He's an a-hole, 102. He doesn't support his people, 67. He's not as qualified as me, 45. He's ungrateful, an ungrateful son of a bitch, 43. There's nothing worse than an ungrateful son of a bitch. He's cheap, 37. He takes credit for the work of others, 33. He's a meddler, 25. He keeps sticking his finger in there where it don't belong, you know?
Rectum.
He's incompetent, 16. He's a brutal taskmaster, master, 3. And he's a workaholic, 2. So those last 2 aren't exactly, you know, they're not like me. Well, of course, we got so many other good choices on there. Especially I have a great boss. I mean, I don't have any complaints with Joe Bell. I mean, he is what he is. You know, he's fat. And whatever Hank called him, you know, he's all of those things too. But other than that, you know, and he helped to get me paid a day late the last time. And it was because Deb was on vacation that week. Now, is she back, I hope? Hey, Deb, I hope you're back, honey. Love you. Have I ever met her? Do I know who she is?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, she's good, man. She takes good care of me on payday. She makes sure I get my check a day early, sometimes 2 days early. She's on top of it, so to speak. Whoever was filling in for her there, that she ought to get her ass fired. And, of course, Robert Reaper, the Grim Reaper, the Lord of the Board. That's when we knew Kenny Walker wasn't going to be long for this radio station when he started with that crap. You knew it, didn't you?
I knew it. I mean, it was a decision they made, right?
Robert Grieper, the Grim Reaper,
way before that. I remember Joe and Clarence saying that they had an idea for a show, and that's when I knew it was going to fail.
They just threw in a big number there last month on the trend. You better watch yourself, mister. Beasley may change their mind. They may say, you know, something, they threw in a real number there 1 month.
Hey, great. Throw in a bigger one.
Who the hell wants Joe Rose?
We need them to throw in big numbers.
We got Kenny and Kimba. All we need is like Kyle, and we got like KKK. You know, Kyle from like South Park? Yeah, you do know.
Of course.
Mark Morgan, it's the 12 to 1 hour on QAM.
They're Muslim doctors, and they practice a radical form of medicine on an explosive new drama, Grey's Jihadami.
Now, turn your head toward Mecca and cough.
Dr. Omar, I've been trying to reach you all morning. Do you not have your cell phone?
No, he's downtown, attached to a detonator.
They're treating the infirmed and taking care of the infidels on Grey's Jihadami.
I have a crusader in the ER complaining of a migraine.
Give him 600 milligrams of ibuprofen and a quick beheading, and he'll be fine.
Hey, we still playing golf this weekend?
I can't. I'll be too busy working on my car. Bomb.
Come on.
It's all on a very special Grey's Jihadami.
Dr. Omar, have you checked out the new nurse? She really fills out her burqa.
I ain't going near that. Who needs a seventh wife, eh?
From 03 at 560 WQM. Jihad, baby. All the crazy Geskies out there. Killing each other, killing us, and all this stuff, you know. Good old-time religion, baby. There ain't nothing like it. You can't go on the air and badmouth religion, baby. That's what the world's all about. Yeah, that's right. Excellent point. 811 votes on the poll, Chris. What are you thinking now? You starting to feel a little bit more cocky about it?
Oh, yeah, we definitely got that 1,000.
What?
We definitely got that 1,000.
No, we don't. Well, what are you talking about? You talk like a madman.
I learned it too.
You talk like a lunatic. Remember the Illuminati and the Bilderbergers?
Sure.
And the Trilateral Commission?
That's right.
And all these...
Oh, my God.
All of these things.
No more Happy Feet for singer Clay Aiken. Now, you see that word singer, Clay Aiken. I mean, what a joke that is.
Oh, he's a singer. He sings.
Yeah. So do I in the shower. He says he's taken steps to prevent future foot wanderings. Maybe he's got a foot fetish. I do like feet, but I mean, you know, not all that. I don't have a fetish about it. I like nice feet.
Right, as opposed to jacked up, nasty feet.
Right. The 2003 American Idol runner-up confirmed Monday in a statement to Entertainment Tonight that he was involved in a dispute with a woman on a Continental Airlines flight to Tulsa for his show Saturday evening. Well, I've got a great bit in here that I haven't played yet.
What Excuse me.
What?
Could you please move your leg off the armrest?
Move my leg? Don't you know who I am?
I don't care who you are. Just move your leg.
Hey! Ouch, you're hurting me. Hey, I'm Clay Aiken. Ouch, wait. You're a middle-aged woman. You're supposed to love me. Ouch, stop hitting me.
Move your leg.
Fine. Well, don't you even think about asking me for an autograph. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're invisible. Hear me? Invisible.
While sleeping on a plane over the weekend, my foot evidently found a home on the armrest of the passenger seated directly in front of me, Aiken said in a statement.
A fly on your wall.
I didn't realize I was causing the woman any distress till she woke me up with a quick hit to the chest. Unfortunately, being that this happened on a plane, the FBI was called in to investigate, and eventually we were all sent on our way. I'd like to thank everyone for their concern. I'm fine and have taken steps to prevent any foot wandering in the future. I got a good idea. How about chopping his legs off? Sounds good to me.
Don't cut!
The Aiken incident drew the attention of the FBI, but no charges were filed. The attention of the FBI? Concertgoers told the Tulsa World that Aiken joked on stage about being beaten up by a girl earlier in the day. Well, that would be no surprise to me. Hey, Clay.
You fairy.
FBI Special Agent Gary Johnson said the dispute over the male passenger's foot resting on the woman's armrest. He said there was an allegation the woman gave the male passenger a minor shove during the argument. At that point, the flight crew was able to resolve the situation, Johnson said. Telephone calls and emails from the AP to Aiken's publicist manager in L.A. were not returned. Thank God, because otherwise there'd be more to the story. And is there anybody in their right mind who wants to hear about Clay Aiken? No. 814 votes on the poll. All these people, man. That's a good poll for you tomorrow. I don't know how you word it. You know, all these, like Paris Hilton, all these no-talent. Who's the worst no-talent person that's been getting the most press, you know? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, that's not a very good way to word it. One good thing, though, they must have done something last Thursday, because remember I told you in the last hour you were cutting out because it was storming and thundering and lightning and the end of the world and stuff like that. And so it probably straightened itself out, you know. Because I can't imagine they did anything to rectify. And then, of course, some jackass there turns the pot off yesterday, the one that's marked, do not close this pot, do not touch it, it's the feed to Toronto for Neil, don't potchkey with it. And, of course, somebody potchkeyed with it and they turned it off. Why can't we stop that? Why can't Clarence, the bonehead that he is, why can't anybody there stop it? Stop it. Stop doing these things. And they won't do it. And you want to know why? Because they know it aggravates the living Schmidt out of me, and of course that makes Clarence happy. That makes him very pleased, because I'm the anti-sports. Anti-Neil, the anti-sports. Hey, you can take your football and your baseball and all your other balls, Clarence, and shove them where the moon don't shine. Wouldn't be the first time. 815 votes on the poll. Now, if we can make 900 and some by one, I don't think it's going to happen. Do you want? That's my honest assessment of it, Chris.
You're too negative. You got to think positive. A British newspaper alleges that the balance of the internal White House debate over Iran
has shifted back in favor of military action before Bush leaves office. And guess who it's got a picture of here in this story on Raw Story?
Doug Thompson.
No.
Cindy Sheehan.
Who?
Cindy Sheehan.
No.
Do I get a hint?
Dick Cheney.
Oh.
Who do you think it is? The Manchester Guardian's Washington source said neither Bush nor Cheney trust any future president, Republican or Democrat, to deal with Iran decisively. They're also anxious about an Israeli attack, the paper reports. Probably Wolf Blitzkrieg's getting to him. Inside the administration, Secretary of State Condoleezza and Secretary of Defense Robert Gates have come out against a military strike on Iran. Vice President Cheney, however, continues to push for military action, according to the paper and previous reports by Raw Story. He is El Anticristo. There's so many Antichrists running around, man, it's hard to keep track of all of them. Remember that scene in the movie, in The Omen, where he takes the scissors? That kid must have been a sound sleeper, you know what?
Yeah.
Because if you're like a little kid and Daddy comes in and he like pushes your hair back and he takes the scissors and he cuts a big chunk of it out and you keep sleeping and he sees the 666 on your head, it's like, you know what I mean? Or maybe he's just faking it.
Right.
Maybe he's pretending to be asleep. Maybe he wanted to like spook Daddy, you know. Oh my God, he's the Antichrist.
Boo.
Last year, Bush came down in favor of Rice. Last month, in a meeting with Pentagon and State Department officials, according to The Guardian, he favored Cheney, who cites little progress in an ongoing standoff with Iran as fast as I can. The balance has tilted, the paper source says. There's cause for concern. Cheney warned Iran in a speech on an aircraft carrier off Iran's coast in May. With 2 carrier strike groups in the Gulf, we're sending clear messages to friends and adversaries alike, he said, according to remarks given to reporters. We'll keep the sea lanes open. We'll stand with our friends in opposing extremism and strategic threats. We'll disrupt attacks on our own forces. We'll continue bringing relief to those who suffer and delivering justice to the enemies of freedom. And we'll stand with others to prevent Iran from gaining nuclear weapons and dominating this region. Almost half of the U.S. 277 warships are stationed close to Iran, including 2 aircraft carrier groups, The Guardian adds. The aircraft carrier USS Enterprise left Virginia last week for the Gulf. A Pentagon spokesman said it was to replace the USS Nimitz, and there'd be no overlap. That would mean 3 carriers in the Gulf at the same time. No decision on military actions expected until next year, the paper adds. In the meantime, the State Department will continue to pursue the diplomatic route. Cheney's got at least 1 or 2 allies in the Senate. One of them is crazy Sam Brownback of Kansas. You know who the other one is?
I don't know. Lindsey Graham.
Let me give you a clue. Orthodox. Independent Senator Drew Lieberman of Connecticut, a strong supporter of Israel, a real Getchke. Asked last week whether he supported a preemptive strike, Brownback said, yes, I do, and I think we have to be if we're going to be serious about this fight, and we're in this fight probably for a generation. We're probably in this fight for a generation, he said. Not that he would repeat himself, because he's a crazy person, Sam Brownback. He's a crazy person, just like Drew Lieberman is a crazy person. Thank God there's no crazy people running the countries around the world, you know what? No graft, no corruption. Like Bandar Bush said. Corruption, what's wrong with that? Did you see that clip? He actually said that with a straight face. What's wrong with corruption? It's been running the world for forever and ever, you know.
Very funny,
He wasn't trying to be funny. He was being dead serious. And quite frankly, the first half of that sounds pretty good to me in his case. Bandar Bush my ass. 823 votes on our world-famous poll. Those last 2 editions on there aren't exactly setting the world on fire, but Brutal Taskmaster and Workaholic. They still got 3 and 2, respectively. Are you respective of them?
Sure.
I have a great boss is leading. Now, doesn't that surprise you?
Yeah.
Because here's a chance. I mean, in South Florida, we know that given a chance to take a cheap shot at anybody or anything, the people just jump on that bandwagon, but they're actually saying something nice. I have a great boss, 231. I still think they believe that they're getting traced. It's got to be it, isn't it?
Must be.
I mean, I've been in this business 150 years. I had I've had a couple of good bosses, but one great boss, and that was Dick Casper. Great. Not good, not okay. Great. He's dead. Isn't that what they say about the good people are the fat people and the fat people are the dead people? He was fat. He was very fat. He lost a lot of weight, but you know what? Too late. Remember that song by the Cordettes, Born Too Late? Well, I sure like that. If you got that on Cadence Records, man, I would go nuts. I think you do have it. Is it by the Cordettes?
Find out.
Born Too Late. I love that.
Fact in the church.
Jumped in a taxi cab. I said, driver, Central Park.
He looked at me so quizzically, I could tell he was in the dark.
Huh?
So I acted out my park charade, and with my arms the trees I made. 'Cause nobody speaks English anymore. I went down to Miami Beach where the weather is nice and sunny. I walked into a liquor store, but the guy there talks real funny. I asked him for a pint of old Jim Beam. He says, "No entiendo." What does that mean? Nobody speaks English anymore. At the corner deli. Hell, I think I'm in Pakistan. Speak English, Smelly. Or you can go back to Iran. I came here many years ago. Learned my ABCs. I don't say muchas gracias. I say pretty please. So get yourself to a classroom quick. You're in America now. Stop making me sick. Nobody speaks English anymore.
So which one do you think I played too much? That one or read a book, read a mother scratching book? Which one?
Oh, you don't play that one very much anymore.
What? The one I
Nobody
just played?
speaks English, right?
Well, that's why I just played it right now. Because it just annoys the hell out of me. Speak it Inglés, baby. Speak it Inglés. Habla Inglés aquí. 831 votes on the poll. We're rushing toward 9. Like I started to say, we're rushing toward
9.
Mm-hmm. So he was out sick today. Hopefully, like with I don't know, gangrene.
No, he's on vacation.
Well, he could still be on vacation and have gangrene. He could have leprosy. Maybe he went to some exotic, erotic place, and contracted some grotesque, horrible, fatal disease. Wouldn't that be a shame? We're talking about Robert Grieper, the Grim Reaper, the Lord of the Board, at a station that's really been hoard. Now, here's a story that was from days ago. But that's what happens when you're only on, twice a week. And there's somebody faxed this in just the last week. As a matter of fact, look at the date on their fax machine. 8/8/2014. Isn't that cute?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does that mean?
Nothing.
Does this mean it was sent by somebody that's too stupid to put the right date on their fax machine, or they're just being clever, or it was just whatever? Stupid. Priest arrested in child porn charge. This is from the Saratogian. Albany, a 50-year-old Catholic priest who is a Cohoes native, now living in Columbia County, could be released on bond as early as today. This was on June 30th. This is like 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks. After a federal magistrate on Wednesday agreed to grant the accused bail as he awaits trial on charges he received and possessed computer images of child pornography, kiddie porn. Catholic priest. According to a federal prosecutor, Raymond Ethier of Hudson took part in a conversation over the Internet with a Canadian just over a year ago, sparking an investigation that led Federal Department of Homeland Security officials to seize a computer from Ethier's home on May 10th and recover images of kiddie porn. Prosecutor Thomas Spina. Solo una spina? Remember that scene?
Si.
Solo una spina? I have a stone in my shoe. I don't think spina really means stone in Italian. We could Google it. But
Spine, like a thorn. It was a mistranslation.
Solo una spina? Well, that doesn't make any sense. I have a spine in my shoe?
Maybe that's what they say in Italy.
What? I have a spine in my shoe?
How would I know?
Must be a big damn shoe, I'll tell you that. Or a small spine. Prosecutor Thomas Spina said Ethier was not arrested in the church St. John Vianney in Claverack or in his home and refused to say exactly where the arrest by DHS, State Police, and Hudson Police took place. He said Ethier faces 5 to 20 years in prison if convicted, but the criminal process will be delayed by medical treatment the priest will seek in Maryland. The criminal complaint filed by prosecutors claims during the May 10 interview he admitted he engaged in sexually explicit conversations with other individuals on the Internet, and that these conversations sometimes involved children, and says the priest admitted to using the program LimeWire to download 2 videos of children engaged in sexual conduct for research only. For research only.
Right.
However, according to the accusatory document, Ethier has denied ever molesting a child, claiming he was doing medical examinations. All right. I wonder if they had to do with a...
Rectum.
Yeah. Magistrate Judge Randolph Treese ordered Ethier's $50,000 bond secured by an equal amount of cash or property, and the accused will abide by a set of conditions or else face a return to custody pending trial. And it goes on and on. Ken Goldfarb, spokesman for the Roman Catholic... Ken Goldfarb, a spokesman for the Roman Catholic Diocese of Albany? with a name like Ken Goldfarb said church officials were not aware of the charges against him until they were contacted by a reporter Tuesday night. How do you like that? Here's a guy named Goldfarb. That would be like Hank Goldberg being Catholic. Are you ready for that?
It says he's a spokesperson, doesn't say he's a Catholic. Maybe they like a good Jew lawyer, too, like everybody else.
How do you like that? Give this to a Jew lawyer in the Bronx. Remember that scene?
Sure.
Sure you do. Marlon Brando was on Biography the other night. It was a two-hour deal. You know, it has to be somebody really special who could take 2 hours. And the way he went out was so grotesque and so just, you know. I got a little piece of trivia that I learned from that show that I bet you don't know.
Lay it on us.
His ashes were buried alongside the ashes of Wally Cox.
I did not know that.
His one-time roommate in New York. Or whatever that school. What was the acting school they went to? Whatever the hell it
Juilliard.
was. No, Juilliard's not an acting school. It's a school of music. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ almighty.
I never went to no effing acting school.
What's wrong with it? Who wants to go to an effing dance school anyway, Leroy? God, I love that movie. I just love it. Don't you?
It was a good movie. It was fun.
Fame. Or is that Flame?
Flaming.
838 votes on the poll. I don't know. What do you think? It's kind of up in the air. Maybe we'll get a 841. See, they're coming in little chunks now.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
It's like when you sneeze, little chunks, and then you realize there's one on the front of your shirt, and you didn't. Oh God,
I hate that.
Especially when you're like going for a job interview, something like that, or you're going on a hot date.
Josh's
going
girlfriend.
on a hot date, and you got a big chunk of snot. You know, you think it's just the front of your shirt, but it's snot. And it's right there, like, and glowing, you know, glowing and red. There's always like some blood in that, you know, in the chunks. A little, so it like stands out, so everybody will look at. Oh my God, he's got chunks of snot on his shirt, you know, like that. That's appetizing, right?
Yeah, yummy.
843 vote on the poll. Oh, Tammy Faye, she's gravely ill with cancer. She weighs about 4 pounds, and she's going to be on with Larry again for the 8 millionth time. She's trying to stay alive. Her battle to stay alive. Why is he so obsessed with that bitch?
I don't know.
You want to know why?
The media is sick and needs help badly.
That's the only meaningful, honest thing I think that bitch ever said in her life. Besides, give me some more mascara. 843 on there. Now look at that. He's a brutal taskmaster who's got 3. See, I can't say that. I invented it, but I can't say it. And he's a workaholic 3. It's kind of like Al Gore. He invented the internet, but he probably don't know how to use it. Now, have you guys got Hank to buy a computer yet, or what? Have you bought him one?
Huh? What?
Well, don't you think before they stick his fat ashes in the ground at Belmont or wherever they're going to do it, don't you think that he ought to have a computer and one of you guys teach him how to use it?
No.
How to hop on the internets? I bet you if you told him he could contact every bookie in the world online, I bet you he'd go for it. What do you think?
Maybe.
I'm gonna put this project in your hands, Chris.
Huh? Yeah, give it to him.
Yeah.
Somebody we can trust.
How much am I going to get paid for it?
About 30, man.
Cent.
This is where you would hear your music. This is where your email is supposed to be. This is where you ought to be able to surf the web. And this would be an incoming call if only AT&T could activate your iPhone.
What a shame. 12:30 at 560. You missed Jennifer there because I had it in queue. Because I got to listen to these things just to make Dave sure.
I know all about it.
Do you really? Make sure it was naughty and nice so we don't get zapped by Joyce. We don't want to get Joyce. That would be really bad, especially this time of the year. 851 votes on the poll. Let's see. Do you think we can make 900 by the top of the hour? If we can make 900 by 1, we could do that 1,000. You buying it?
How much?
Of course.
Don't forget, Chris, when you see the Humper this afternoon, tell him I'm getting it. And you're the one that's going to buy it for him, too, by the way.
What, out of
PC.
a gumball machine or something?
No, a computer. Good one.
Really?
The best.
All right, so I'll wait for that check from you to get here first before I buy it.
Yeah, I'll send you a check. In fact, I got this account that has been closed for like about 50 years. I'll send you a check from there.
As long as your name's on it, that's all good.
853 votes on our world-famous poll. Now, look at that. He's a workaholic, has moved with 4 now, and a brutal taskmaster only 3. I think somebody's toying with my emotions on that baby. But between the two of them, they haven't got squat. 853, though. George, even George, I think, will let out like a little gasp if we make 1,000 a day. On the what is it? The 17th of Julio.
Right. I'll let out a gas.
Will you let out some gas? Like that bitch at Woodbine that was sitting next to me? Russian gas. I remember once upon a time, about 100 years ago, we did that poll, whose farts smell the worst? Old Russian women. Hands down your pantaloonies. I'm telling you right now. It's not even a contest. Right. I mean, my eyes were watering. I'm not sure whether it was just from the aroma or whether I was in tears from the experience. Have you ever had an experience like that?
Sure.
What kind of, she must have been eating like a lot of borscht, and drinking a lot of vodka. Maybe that's what you're going to have this weekend when you date Josh Cordes' girlfriend.
That will be an
Borscht
option.
And vodka. That's probably all you're going to get is borscht. This is a very bad story, very depressing, but it's typical of Florida. Guess who's raised the most money April through June in Florida? Which of the presidential candidates were either party? I already told you this morning. But you forgot. Thank God. If you can't remember Bill Cosford, how can you remember this? Let me give you a clue. Rudy
Giuliani.
Oh, here's somebody that's upset because we didn't take their advice for the... I'm unemployed. That'll help get us over the 1,000. Get that on there right away, Chris. I'm unemployed.
Doing it now. Good.
Where's the choice? I'm unemployed. Okay, for the bull. Well done. Yeah, I'm glad that they mentioned that again, because once we get that on there, because our audience, Neil, all his audience is like Boca Brian. They're all a bunch of deadbeats. Remember that?
Yep.
See, I don't forget things like that when people start casting aspersions about our fine, quality audience out there. We got some heavy-duty people out there listening right now. Some people that make like $3-4 an hour. Bob, what is his name? Rob Berry and Beth Reinhardt report in the Herald. Giuliani hauls in the most cash in Florida. He busted out of the presidential pack and carried off more Florida money than any other candidate over the past 3 months, helping his party resist a national trend that shows the Democratic field pounding the GOP in raising cash. Only in Florida, Giuliani ranked $1.6 million from April through June, twice as much as he raised during the first 3 months of the year. His success in Republican primary fundraising reflects his national fundraising total the best of any Republican candidate and his front-running status in the Florida polls. Florida is a tremendously important state for the campaign, and it's a state where we're well-positioned to win the primary, said Giuliani spokesman Elliot Bundy. I wonder if he's kin to Ted. Our success there is borne out in the numbers for both the polls and fundraising. Nationally, the Republican field is lagging behind Democratic counterparts in the money chase, hamstrung by voters' misgivings about President Bush and the war in Iraq. The gap is tighter in Florida, suggesting the state will once again serve as a key battleground for the White House in 2008. Oh, then they can fix it again. The top 3 Republican contenders raised roughly $345,000 more than the leading Democrats over the past 3 months, though Democrats move ahead when their totals from the beginning of the year are included. It's good to see that kind of Republican activity in a swing state, said Jorge Arizureta, a top GOP donor supporting former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney. And don't forget, you can't play baseball without a...
Mitt?
Right. See, there's a little sports thing in it. I bet you Clarence comes in and gives you a big kiss for doing that. Nice. The Florida GOP defied the national backlash against the Republican Party in 2006, holding onto the governor's mansion with your governor and the legislature. The state GOP raised $1.6 million at a Tampa fundraiser Friday, which it said was a record-setting haul in a non-election year. Figures. In the Republican field, Giuliani was followed by Romney, who raised $967,000 and appears to be having the most success tapping big donors to Bush. Arizona Senator John McCain, who's insane, raised $448,000, only half of what he raised the first 3 months of the year. The big unknown, Fred Thompson, who came in second behind Giuliani in a recent Florida survey, but doesn't have to disclose his fundraising until he officially becomes a candidate. Giuliani slated to attend a fundraiser today at the home of Hialeah Mayor Julio Robaina and greet supporters at 4 this afternoon at Tropical Restaurant. Leading the Democratic field is New York Senator Swillery, who collected more than $1.2 million in Florida, plus another $260,000 she can use only if she wins the nomination. Next up was Barack Obama with $908,000. Now, how much did she have? $1.2 million. He had $908,000. Former North Carolina Senator John Edwards raised $503,000, which will buy him a lot of haircuts. And New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson took in $211,000. It's tremendous how much excitement and energy there is for the Democratic candidates in Florida. We're gratified with the amount of support we're seeing, said Clinton spokesman Mo Ellery. Clinton's fundraising pace dropped off a little from the beginning of the year, though she continues to lead in the polls. On the last day to raise money for the second quarter, she zigzagged across the state to get 5 Florida receptions before midnight. She zigzagged. I wonder if she bought them at 7-Eleven. You think is that where you buy your zigzags?
Yeah, the Cumberland, wherever I'm at.
I'm completely gratified to how close we are to Senator Clinton, given that we did hardly any fundraising in the state this quarter, and she did a lot of events," said Obama's Florida finance manager, Kirk Wager. The fundraising drop-off is steep for the rest of the candidates. Sunday was the deadline for presidential contenders to report their contributions and expenses to the FEC. Under a new state law, Florida will be the first big state to hold its presidential primary, where voters go to the polls January 29. Giuliani and Romney were the biggest spenders here, suggesting that the state is a linchpin of a national strategy to win the Republican nomination. A linchpin, as in lynch mob. 861 on the poll, baby. We got 23 minutes to get up over 900, and then no holding us back, I think. I mean, some of you people may be voting more than once. Wouldn't that be bad? In fact, we invite you to vote several times. Vote 100 times. Just to make us feel good. Make us feel like it was worth the dragging my ass out of bed and coming in here today. Not that I dragged my ass out of bed real early, though, did I? No.
No.
Now, what is it you think when you get that? I mean, that's only happened, I think, 2 or 3 times.
No, I get the facts, and I figure you're sleepy. A lot of people don't have good nights sleep
for
one
dopey.
reason or another, yeah.
Isn't sleepy being better than dopey?
Or sneezy.
Or wheezy. How about wheezy?
Grumpy.
Grumpy. May have been a little bit grumpy. You got that one fact, so you sound a little bit grumpy today. Not me. Not me, because I got this great summer gig going, baby. I work on Thursday. You realize that only... Let's figure this out. I don't want to rub it in anybody's face or nose.
Mm-hmm.
Or
rectum.
Out of the next how many days? After today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... The next 6 days, I work 1 day. How you like that? Does that, when you put it in those terms, doesn't that disturb you?
No.
It doesn't disturb you. But
wish I could make some money, but that's a different story. It has nothing to do with how
little
you're
working. Are they paying you extra
working.
for this great summer load that you're carrying now?
No, of course not. You know that.
They're not?
No, of course not. You know that.
I don't know that.
I don't get paid any extra for any of the days that I do any show at any time over the summer or any of the other times.
Well, what kind of communist bunch of crap is that?
That's my deal.
You got a pretty crappy deal. Who negotiated that deal?
Norm.
What kind of a fag negotiated that deal for?
Norm. Yours.
Norma?
Your
Hey, Norma.
You fairy.
I thought he was supposed to take care of you. Just like Bob
funny.
Green. Oh, I'll take care of George. I'll take care of George.
Yeah.
And even though you took him to all those swing clubs and got him crocheted and laid in whatever you
did. All those. It took him once.
One. Well,
so
one was enough.
Yeah.
Should have been enough. In his case.
Yeah, it should have been. Set him right up.
I know this is going to sound really tacky. And just like you can't envision your parents having sex. There's certain things that you're just not capable of imagining.
Yeah, why you want to go there?
What? No, I'm not talking about... I can't imagine Bob Green having a penis. I'm sorry.
Christ.
See? Now, you see your reaction to that? I don't know why. Well, you know him.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine it?
Why do I want to?
Well, think about it.
Absolutely.
It's been brought to my attention that your ratings are dying now. Well, I want to show you what a big asset I was to you, and how. You thought you could find somebody good enough to fill my baggy pants? It ain't easy. There ain't no chance I'll ever be coming back. Outside of considering a lucrative contract. If you want to know what'll save you from shutting that transmitter down, why, that's easy. Sure.
All you need is Mo. Oh! All you need is Mo.
Oh!
All you need is a show. Mo.
These your old time slots only got you to thank. Despite that, my ratings have bottomed out in the tank. When radio had the revolving door for the gayest of the whores and squeaky shack.
All you need is Mo.
Now take it.
All you need is Mo.
And the morning.
All you need is a show. Mo.
By the way, something.
Yes?
Jack told me to give you this.
What?
You see? What are you going to do, fire me, huh?
Like old times.
12:45. Boy, I'll tell you how the mighty have fallen. Huh? No more Mo and Geldy. No more Mo or Geldy on QAM. What's the story with Mo, Chris? Is he still doing the 8:50 thing with the Dolphin stuff, or just during the football season?
Huh?
On the weekend. Did you say?
Huh?
You don't know?
No.
Don't tell me the Mo Man has vanished from our lives. From the South Florida radio dial. That would be bad.
If we're lucky.
By the way, how's it going, Mo? I'm sure he's listening right now, in between Mahjong. He's probably got a Mahjong date at like 2:30. 874 on our poll. Now, did we put I'm unemployed has got only 3. Whoever kept bugging us to put that on there, assumed that, when we put that on there, it's going to be way, make your thing zoom way up. Well, I'd like to see my thing zoom way up, but I don't think so. 874, I don't think we're going to make it, Chris.
We are going to make it.
And you want to know why?
Why?
Because you assumed about 12:15, you said, we got it made. And once you say that in South Florida, boy, you might as well forget about it.
Sure, always blame me.
Well, that's because it's usually your fault. Who's the one that puts us over the top?
Forget about it.
Yeah. Just like that time we had that stupid-ass contest going with, Greg Kotex, was it, or LeBastard? That stupid thing in the Herald between the two stations. And it was left to us. Clarence and our manglement tell the rest of the people, just ignore the thing. Don't pay any attention. Don't get involved in that. Right. Just lay down and roll over for them, okay? I still think we got people inside who are moles who are on the payroll across the street. Don't you believe me?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if you checked around, you'll find some moles. Next time you're in the tea room, take a quick look.
No.
Just like Bob Green, if you take a look. You won't find one. You might have a mole or two. 877, we need 23 to get to 900. And then in the 1 to 2 hour, boy, it's going to be intense. They're going to be tuning in from China, from Hong Kong, from everywhere. Madagascar, Rhode Island, the North Pole. Well, at least it used to be the North Pole. Ain't there anymore. 877, the worst thing about your boss. I'm unemployed's got 4. Deadbeats, like Boca Brown, like Chicken Neck. And by the way, Chicken Neck, don't be using that candle in the wind thing. Now, what did they even mean? What did that
music
mean?
bed, the goodbye.
No, I know that, but what does it mean? You can't use it anymore. But why is that?
I think the implication is they're tired of that tune.
Oh, really? Well, too bad. Blow it out your...
Goodbye, Anna Nicole, fat pasty Hona. They'll need a shoehorn too.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to play all of them. Just because that idiot crossed my ass.
Goodbye, John Ashcroft. Now beat it and get lost.
Yeah, that's good.
Goodbye, Bernie Carrick. I'm in hysterics. We hardly got to know you, and if you ask me, that's quite okay, because you're bad and ugly and insane.
So this is the guy that's trying to program the show, huh? Trying to tell a genius like Chicken Neck.
Goodbye, Brian Murray.
Oh, the spokesman.
You killed the team, and you wouldn't know good hockey if it bit you on the ass.
Uh-oh, better watch it. He might have said the whole word.
Goodbye, Charles Nelson Riley.
There's only about 4,000 of these, by the way. Do you know how long it's going to take to play a little bit of each one?
Goodbye,
a little bit
Chris
of each one.
Farley.
Beg your pardon?
Play them all. What do you mean a little bit of each one? Man? Load them up in the buffer.
Goodbye, coldest pal.
You mean in their entirety?
Goodbye, Dan Marino. About time you should go and enjoy all that money you made from your restaurants.
Oh, no. I wonder what Barney Fagg thinks about this one. I bet you Barney, he likes it.
Goodbye, Dick Armey.
This one I'm not that crazy about.
Goodbye, Don Corleone.
A little bit too much cotton batting in the cheeks.
Goodbye, Ed Bradley. We'll miss you badly.
Now, there's another guy. Can you believe that Ed Bradley is dead? And what's his name? Peter Jennings. That's not possible. Is it?
Farewell, all well. Eat monkey brains in hell and out of your dad that leaves a few extra meals.
That's what he's doing. He's eating monkey brains in hell, foul ball. Not that Jewish Jay Fiedler. Well, he could sure heave it, couldn't he?
Goodbye, Jay Fiedler. Now I can't fiddle with it.
Guess that's what happens when a Jew wraps his hands around a fat pigskin.
Uh-oh. Then there's always this.
Goodbye, old Iku. Rhymes with Titsoon and you fell off your ass.
What was the first part of that other word? What was it? What did he say? Oh, but I do like this.
What word?
Goodbye, IOD. The memories are.
What did he say? Oh, but I do like this.
What word?
Goodbye, IOD. The memories are all that's left of a station that once had fame. And for AM, that was quite a claim.
Now, wasn't that the first bit I played on QM that day? Remember that glorious day, December 30th, whatever it was, 9 years ago, 9.5 years? Yep. Wasn't that the first bit? I played that, and I hate QAM. I played those side by each, back to back.
The very first one was the I hate QAM.
It was what?
I hate the QAM one.
You sure?
Positive.
To blow it all in when they build those condos and block that tower off.
Now, who the hell is Goodbye Joe? What Joe is that? Joe Mama? Joe Carroyo?
Goodbye, Joe. Pack up and blow. After your wife leaves you out, go find a job. I hear they're hiring at Polaroid. Goodbye, John Denver. Too bad you had to go flying in an experimental craft.
Now, do you know anybody who is upset about John Denver croaking? I don't know. I bet you couldn't find anybody for money.
Goodbye,
I didn't look.
Kinley. We're dancing on your grave and they ought to pay the...
Okay, so there you get the message, okay? I mean, I could play them all, but that would be like cheating and stuff. I don't want to do that. Especially when we get to Kitty Carlisle, because Chicken Neck and I are the only two people who remember Kitty Carlisle, and that would be bad. 879 on the pool. Let me just click that thing there where it says View Current, and those little red berries come popping up on my screen. 880. Oh, brother. I have the feeling today we're going to miss it. I think we're going to come really close, and we're going to miss it. It's like George's date with Josh's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to come close, but it ain't going to happen.
We're not going to talk.
You're not going to talk?
Well, we're not going to talk about what happens if anything happens.
Well, why not? Here's the big build-up for the whole audience, and you're talking like Mr. Hotshot, Mr. Macho.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to go out there and show her a thing or two that she ain't seen before, although I think she probably has seen one or two. But and then we're not going to hear about it?
I'm not going to go into details.
How about just making it up?
I might just do that.
That would piss off Josh big time. And you know something? That would teach him a good lesson. He would stop going back to Vegas and wasting my money.
I doubt it.
He would stop. Why do you doubt it?
He's being a sport. He says he's not going to kick me after I'm unconscious.
881. See, now they should be coming in big chunks if we're going to make it. See, Chris, that's the bad sign.
We're going to get it, don't worry.
Because this is what usually happens is once I say, oh, I don't think we're going to get there, that's when they start really coming to our aid. They start really aiding and abetting our cause, as if it means something, which of course it doesn't.
Either way, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win for me because I won't be here tomorrow.
Well, that's if it's, but if we hit 1,000...
In fact, I'm going back to sleep now. Here's George.
Hey,
the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform announced yesterday that it's invited former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld and other ex-Bush military officials to testify on the friendly fire death of former professional football player and Army Corporal Pat Tillman. On Wednesday, August 1st, that's the day that the ratings come out, George, the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform will hold a hearing entitled The Tillman Fratricide, What the Leadership of the Defense Department Knew, stated in a press release from the Committee of Representative Henry Waxman, Democrat of California. He's the guy with the mustache and the turned-up nose. Looks like he's got a pig nose. You ever see Henry?
No.
You don't want to see him. Good guy, looks bad. Like me. Good guy, I look bad. The hearing will examine what senior Defense Department officials knew about U.S. Army Corporal Patrick Tillman's death by fratricide. Hey, buddy, guess what? Oops. In addition to Rumsfeld, the committee has invited General Richard Myers, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, former Central Command head John Abizaid, and 3 officers from the U.S. Special Operations Command. Last Friday, Waxman announced that the White House was asserting executive privilege on its internal communications over Tillman's death. They assert executive privilege on everything. Everything's a secret. We need to get Gary Moore, pump some oxygen in his dead ass, and bring him back for I've Got a Secret again. Everything's a big secret at the White House. In their letter last week, Representative Waxman, with Tom Davis, Republican of Virginia, the ranking Republican on the committee, chided Secretary of Defense Robert Gates for not turning over documents indicating how Rumsfeld and other Pentagon staff were informed of Corporal Tillman's death. There are no documents showing how the Secretary was informed that Corporal Tillman was killed by his own unit, and there are no documents indicating when this information was provided to him, whether on May 20th, 2004, or any other date they wrote. There's nothing getting worse than getting killed by your own unit. It wasn't clear whether the White House's assertion of executive privilege relating to Waxman and Davis's request would also apply to internal Department of Defense communications pertaining to the circumstances of Tillman's death. And the beat goes on.
Since Fearless Leader has won, Natasha and I no longer have to look for moose and squirrel. Instead, we listen to the Neil Rogers Fair and Balanced 1 to 2 hour.
893 on a poll, Chris. I think we're kind of a little short, you know? Sometimes nature does that to you. What are you thinking?
I think we're going to get it. A war on terrorism is what they say. To get away with having everything their way. Nobody pays attention through their busy little day, while our leadership has gone insane. Oi! $7 billion is what we all paid to build a bomb that makes your enemies gay. They postponed the project when the word got out about a great idea. Let's show to the world who the boss is here by turning everybody queer.
Gay.
Gay bomb, gay bomb. Yes, that will teach them all. They can squat and French their nails and shave their balls. Gay bomb, gay bomb.
Rectum.
What harm will it do if they drop a gay bomb over you? Then you would be a homo. You can't.
103 at 560 WQM. We got 895 votes. We can't even get to 900. Forget about that 1,000. This is pretty bitter pill to swallow. You know what? It's like taking a laxative. It's like taking bad cough medicine. Really bad tasting crap. You know? Have you ever had that?
So I guess we'll see you Thursday.
Like what does that mean?
You said if we hit 1,000, you were taking Thursday off.
I say a lot of crap. Okay, don't start. Listen, just forget about it. Okay, whatever I say, disregard it.
Okay.
Until I tell you otherwise.
All right, so I'm not getting a computer for Hank.
You're getting a computer for Hank, all right, or I'm going to want to know what for or what why. You need to sit that fat tubby child down. In fact, the two of you can you can teach him over lunches. You can have a few lunches together. Why not? You want to have lunch with Hank? Are you knocking the humper now or what? 898. First we need to get to 9, and once we get to 9, I know even little kids know that.
9.
That's right. Then you get to 10. But you can't get to 10 without getting to 9. Robert Grieper, by the way, was out. He's got malaria, and we certainly wish him a speedy death. That's Robert Grieper, the Grim Reaper, the Lord of the Board, the man with the short sword. 898. What's the worst thing about your boss? See, this guy that gave us this unemployed thing, we've only got 8. They acted like, oh, that's going to put you over the top. You're going to get a whole bunch because you're a deadbeat audience out there, Neil. That's all you're going to get. Like Boca Brian, Chicken Neck. And then they go ahead and then this other guy picking on Goodbye Yoshki or whatever that thing was. Those things are great. You're right. I should have queued every one of those up and just played whole thing. You're right. Now, where the hell did I leave off? Oh, King Fod.
Goodbye, King Fod. You got your schmata in a wadi.
Goodbye, Katie Carlisle.
Well, they don't want to hear that one. Teresa Laporte. Well, we only wish that she would have croaked. Her butterfly ballad.
Goodbye, Teresa Laporte. Won't see you no more.
Sounds a little like Mother, doesn't it?
Goodbye, Florida's team. Nice while it lasted. Violating the Florida tradition of apathy. When you played the game too well. Next season will be hell.
900 votes. Oh, now we're doing it, baby. Let's see. Goodbye, Amir Penis. We can't play that. Can we say that?
Goodbye, Mayor Penis.
No, we sure can't play that.
Goodbye, McClellan.
Oh, now here's one that we should play, the whole thing.
Hey, it's Howard David.
Welcome back to the Mo Howard David Show, where we're chock full of zany but good, clean family fun.
I'm here and you're there. I can tell you that phrase, huh?
You know that pipe smoking thinks rape is funny.
Like I said, let's not push it too far.
Goodbye, Patsy Ramsey, you big fat backstage mammy. Goodbye, Phil Hartman. Bryn did you in and...
There's only like 600 more of them, okay, for that guy. And if anybody's upset that I'm playing all those or little pieces of them, too bad. You can blame that guy. Go lynch that guy. Go find his ass and hang him from a freaking tree, whoever sent that fax. Oh, and don't play this, and don't do that, and don't read a book, and don't do, all these experts, all these mavens out there. And you'll never guess who I just had a thing from on MySpace. You'll never guess in a million years. But I'll give you a clue, and it'll make it perhaps a little bit easier. You want to hear the clue?
No. Al Rogers.
No. Worse.
Johnny G.
That's possible. Chamba?
Oh, how nice.
Just to let me know that we're all out here, and we're still going to be there, and we're always going to be there. And guess who just got blocked by me on there?
Yeah.
Did you report him as spam?
No, I just blocked. I wouldn't waste my time with it, okay? Here's a thing from a guy. He's 35 years old. It says about the Panthers site. I've been listening to you since I was in 8th grade. Back then you were a Cubs fan. We'd talk about the game the day before and each morning. So I started watching the Cubs on WGN to make sure I knew what you were talking about. Thanks to you, and unfortunately I've been a Cubs fan ever since. Oh, I'm sorry, Pally. Dan. The guy's name is Dan. Living in unbearable pain. Maybe this year we'll change it. They're on a roll. They're quite a roll. That's what I'm hearing in a rumor. I'm not paying any attention. Are they rolling it, Chris?
Yeah, they're actually doing well the last couple games.
They're rolling it, and Georgia's smoking it. I have a few fanships that are outside of the Angels of South Florida. Cubs, the Mavs, and the A's. And it's always a joy to explain to people I became a Cubs fan listening to my boy Neil. Sorry for being a little too sports intensive here. Yeah, you ought to be, Dan. But just wanted to say thanks for the years of entertainment and setting me on a course of Cubs torture. I know you're so optimistic about the Panther organization this year, but just want to let you know that a few of us have taken it upon ourselves to try to get the word out that we indeed have a team in South Florida, and they finally are primed and ready for a playoff run, not a cup run. Big difference, yes. However, there are diehard Panther fans out there. Yeah, there's some diehard Panther fans.
About 30, man.
And this year, because we don't have the games, I had to pay for the tickets myself, and I paid for them. John goes to a bunch of games, and so more power to him. And then I can give some away, too. Not that you guys would go. And not that I would give them to you anyway. It says, big difference, yes. However, there's diehard Panther fans out there. Here's the link to the only one of its kind dedicated to the Panthers, and it's got a link. My first and relatively easy post is entitled Iron Idiot, and my name is Panthers, whatever his name is. Thanks, Dan. Good luck to you. Let's get a little hockey intensive here. Blow the whole audience out. What do you say?
Okay.
I mean, I'm not knocking hockey, but I mean, nobody cares. Let's do a show on harness racing. Come on.
An off-road door and wide, followed up by O'Brien.
That sounds like the Doc to me, like Doc Emmer.
And then it's Gianta handing it on back and getting it back.
Handing it on back, and he takes and gives and takes and shakes and quakes.
So that wouldn't be strong enough.
Oh, it's that obnoxious Bobby Clark. Hub there and drear, Bobby. You bastard, you. There's Leafs TV.
On the line, and whereas a club team, it's
yeah, there you go. Lots of hockey stuff here all the time. You want to know why? Because these people are insane with it. They're obsessed. But you know something? I'd rather be living around people obsessed with hockey and with that than obsessed with killing each other. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I don't know. I'm saying it's an uncivilized country that you live in. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Well, here's another one from Dan. Also, if you do check out the Panther site, disregard the players that are not spelled correctly on the poll. I had nothing to do with that, I promise. Don't worry, Dan. We don't give no points for spelling on this show, okay? Or for grammar or literacy. 918 on the poll, Chris. 918, old bean. How do you like that?
I told you.
Where the hell did that come from all of a sudden, that flurry? I started talking, and right away it was Theo with the flurry, who was sleeping in the back seat when all that molestation was going on. He didn't know nothing. He didn't know nobody was getting molested. 919, that means we need 81 votes. We got 50 minutes. That's way less than 2 a minute. I think you're going to do it today. I think Chris Whalen is going to be Whalen. And he promises if we get to 1,000, he's going to sing a song before the end of the show today.
Huh?
Wouldn't that be great, George?
No.
It'll be wonderful.
I think it would be spectacular. Something special. Like you can sing that...
read a book?
You could do that without the bleeps in it.
Sure.
Or you could sing the Rihanna with that Umbrella song. You like that?
Umbrella's the word I know.
Valerie Borline in the Wall Street Journal writes, political woes dog Republicans all across the South. Except in Florida, of course, because it's a Yahoo state. I bet you that they raise most of their money like in Two Egg and Temple Terrace, places like that. Places that Lassiter used to talk about, rest in peace. Blabo. The Republican-led South Carolina legislature was in the final throes of a bitter session last month when word of criminal charges against a high-ranking state official swept through both chambers. A federal grand jury just handed up an indictment against Treasurer Thomas Ravenel, one of the state's leading political families, for allegedly distributing cocaine. Mr. Ravenel, who had recently defeated a Democratic incumbent who held office for 36 years, was a statewide chairman for Rudy Giuliani's presidential campaign in what has historically been a decisive early primary state. The indictment is just one of many political headaches across the South that are making Republicans look more vulnerable than they have in years to losing ground in the region's legislatures and state houses, to which we say, all right, thank God. Not that the Democrats are good, it's just that the Republicans are so bad and so dangerous. Though there aren't any sign of them losing their dominance in the region, the once formidable, solid South coalitions they forged in the 80s and 90s and a century of Democratic dominion have given way to messy schisms and infighting, kind of like George's marriage. Messy schisms and infighting. Today they look like the bitterly divided Democrats of 3 decades ago. And it goes on about this one's a crook, and that one's a son of a bitch, and this one's a bastardo, and this one is, a philanderer and screwing around.
You son of a bitch.
What for? What are you, nuts?
Up the butt.
Roy.
Up the butt.
Now see here. Get up your butt, pal, and cut your waist.
Oh, boy, man, I'll tell you one thing. It's the dog days of summer. The interesting thing about your friend Chamba, if you look at his, he's got one friend on his MySpace page. You know what it is?
You, the Neil Rogers Show?
No. Tom. And where it's got the new thing now, where for the mood, it says lonely.
I'm sure.
And most of the pictures he's got on there, all by himself. Here's a guy sporting a Hollywood who's got a picture of a car instead of a picture of himself. He said, and wait till you hear this. How you doing, my bestest friend in the world? Anyway, have you ever had a chance to check out any of the movies I suggested or warned you about? What did you think if you did? I don't know what the hell they were. If you would remind me. I don't know. Also, here comes the best part. I want you to listen very carefully to this. Also, just wondering, are you ever open to investment ideas, or are you pretty much set with playing horses, etc.?
Yeah. You're really looking for some investment opportunities, I'm sure.
I mean, if you look up in a Chinese dictionary, the word shtuch, that's it. That's one. That's a shtuch, a stab. To the heart. Not the back even, to the heart. Are you ever open to investment opportunities, or pretty much set with playing horses, etc.? Let's see, delete. Go away. Go away. Let me go back and read about the Panther stuff again, please. Okay, here's the good news, though. 954 votes. We got a real solid shot. I would say it's actually...
rock solid.
That's right.
Told you.
954, and we need 46 mo in 40 minutes. That's just barely more than one a minute. The worst thing about your boss? Rip him an ass. Don't give me this, he's a great boss. I have a great boss, 260, is leading the way. I am the boss, 231. He's an a-hole, 112. He doesn't support his people, 76. He's cheap, 48. He's not as qualified as me, 47. But then again, who is, you know? Don't we all think that?
Yep.
But in my case, he's ungrateful, 47. He takes credit for the work of others, 35. And don't they all? Don't they all? Absolutely. I'm unemployed, 34. That's moving up there now. All the deadbeats are finally... how the hell are the deadbeats getting online?
Library.
Is that where they're going, the library?
Yes.
When even the deadbeats are finding a way to get online, and the humper, with all the money he's making, you need to sit him down and have a talking to. From me, tell him a heart-to-heart talk. I'm serious.
He's talking to you, George.
No.
Both of you.
He's not.
Yes, I am.
Listen, I'm working on
Hank
Chris.
Get along great.
Chris is my project right now. I offered to buy him roller skates.
Have you got a brand new pair of roller skates?
Not yet.
And a brand new
I got
key.
a brand new key.
Do you?
Yeah, but I'm hiding it in my...
Rectum.
Anyway, let's finish with this. Well, you're not going to do it, and he won't do it anyway. It's like I was going to get him that thing to take his blood sugar, and he refuses. I don't know. You notice on the news they came up with these new 7 Wonders of the World, the revised edition, and he was one of them, the humper. Anyway, the worst thing about your boss, he's ungrateful, 47. He takes credit for the work of others, 36. I'm unemployed, 34. He's a meddler, 29. He's incompetent, 24. He's a workaholic, 6. And he's a brutal taskmaster, 5. He works everybody like crazy, like a sumbitch. Those last 2 are kind of weak. Sorry, Professor, they don't like our choices. 964 on there. We're going to do it. We are going to do it, and then you'll see they're going to stop the press at the freaking USA Today, Washington Post, New York Times, LA Times, Detroit Free Press, the Buffalo Evening News, the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle, and the Times-Union. They're going to stop the press. You'll see. Forget about the Herald and the Sun-Sentinel. They don't want to give us any publicity because they got their nose up their ass across the street. That's what it's all about. Am I right about that? Yep. In spite of the fact that we allow those people to just abort this radio station, and they give us nothing. And they put that puff piece in there about, Joel Feinberg says the Panthers are poised to make a run at the Stanley Cup. That's got to be
I am that hemorrhoid.
The most ridiculous thing I've ever read in my life. That's like saying that the ticket's going to have 10 shares in the next book when the book comes out. Oh, they're going to have 10 double digits. Sure. Like Frankie Pentangeli would say, yeah, sure. You crazy bastards. 964. We're going to go well over 1,000, Chris. See, now it's safe to say we got it made.
See, I told you.
966. 34 votes in 38 minutes. Even a deaf, dumb, and blind man could do that.
So we have a shot then.
Even Chamba, even he could do that.
I wouldn't go that far.
Says, I'll be talking to all of you soon on the radio. You won't be talking to me. I don't take any stupid-ass calls, okay, schmuck? And you're one of the reasons. You're one of the main reasons. You and your little band of misfits. I'm lonely. I can't imagine why you're lonely, okay? You want to know why you're lonely?
I have no
Because you're an idiot. You're pathetic. You're tragic. You're subhuman. You're a doochie box. 967. We need 33 more votes. And once we get to 1,000, I think at that point we play I know what I want to play. We get to 1,000. And I got a email on MySpace from a young lady, one of our 4 lady listeners, and she said, "You go, man, keep playing that. It's the best. It's the bomb. It's the Schmidt." That's what she said.
Good.
Well, what do you say? Good. You won't play it.
I'll let you play it. Look, it's getting played.
But I'm only on twice a week.
So there you go. It's getting played enough.
You got to keep those numbers up there, man, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, especially with the big bucks that you're getting paid to do those extra shows.
Yeah.
968, that's kind of great. We need only 32 more. I got such a stiff neck. That's usually a sign of a stroke.
Is it?
Well, it could be. Or it's a sign that you didn't get any sleep. That could be it, too. But that will change. That will change very soon. In fact, I may just lay down on the floor here right at 2 o'clock and sleep like forever, like Rip Van Winkle, till Thursday morning at 10. Conditions for children in Iraq have deteriorated sharply in recent years as the humanitarian plight has fallen largely into neglect, a senior UNICEF official said yesterday. I have no doubt whatsoever that today's condition is much worse, Dan Toole, acting deputy executive director of the UN Children's Fund, told journalists, after being asked for a comparison with the situation under Saddam Hussein's regime. Those poor bastards over there, they're begging, bring them back, even with a broken neck. Bring them back, please. Bring back Saddam. Children who've had to flee Iraq, and millions have fled, are much worse off than a year ago, and they're certainly much worse off than they were 3 years ago, he said. Toole said there were signs that the health and nutrition for Iraqi children was changing for the worst, despite recently released 2-year-old indicators that had shown signs of an improvement. UNICEF said the information gleaned from people leaving Iraq and from the agency's quite limited access within the country indicated that the number of female-headed households has increased dramatically because mostly men have been killed in the violence there. Many of those women are too frightened to bring their children to health clinics. Many are too frightened to send their children to school. And some of them may be playing Dungeons and Dragons, like that couple. Don't you think they should be executed right on TV tonight?
Yes. With a sword.
Only 2/3 of Iraqis have access to clean water, according to UNICEF. My concern is that the focus on Iraq is the political situation, the security situation. It's not on the lives of Iraqis living day in, day out with deprivation, with lack of food, with lack of medical supplies, he said. That says something about the attention of the world, the attention of our leaders to it, urging a greater focus on the impact on children. He says, UNICEF says its aid programs for children in Iraq have only received about a third of the funding they need. Well, who cares about those kids, huh? They're FTW, future terrorists of the world. That would be the good excuse, right?
Sure.
When in doubt, stomp them out, those future terrorists, all them schmata heads. That's what Dick Cheney would say. When in doubt, take him out. I'd like to take him out for lunch and do something like an electrical thing to mess up his pacemaker. Wouldn't that be fun? Right in the middle of his turkey sandwich. 973 on our world-famous poll. We're going to make 1,000 today, and then even Tom Jicka is going to sit up and take note. He ain't going to say nothing about it, but he'll sit up and take note. He hates me. And you want to know why? Because he's like, he can't handle the truth.
You fellas. So what's going on in the world of sports today?
Nothing.
Oh, come on. There's got to be something sports-related we can disinterest our audience in today.
No, man. I mean, there's nothing. Just some days. Nothing's going on with sports, man.
Well, turn on ESPN. Maybe they got chicken chasing or
I'm
something.
telling you, man. There's nothing going on.
That's unacceptable. I mean, didn't any millionaire athletes murder somebody or something?
Not today.
Well, you think maybe we should try something that would be entertaining?
No way, dude. That's work. Right, Gelby? The situation here is only sports. It gets us hard in the shorts.
We're narrowcasting only this, no music, chicks, or politics. Keep it easy and say we broadcast nothing. Just gush about sport holes every day. We bow our heads in deep respect to jocks who make the family day. And we're closet gays.
If to our show your alarm is set, you might as well go back to bed.
We talk about men like homos and jockstraps that just lose control.
We've all lost our mind.
Broadcast nothing, just sports on the time.
Okay, so what's the score? 132 at 560 WQAM. I'll tell you the score on the poll. 990. Even George can smell it now, can't you? Can you smell it?
I smell something.
That's that Russian bitch from Woodbine. Oh, man. I mean, listen, we all have had, I've had worse happen. I told you that. I've had the accidents in the pantaloonies, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm sure I didn't smell too good. But I made it a point to stay, to avoid being near anybody, and I rushed away from anybody who got near me, you know what I'm saying? So that they wouldn't have to swoon and their eyes wouldn't be watering. But I mean, Jesus, she is sitting there, and you notice I spelled that without any extra letters.
I'm very proud.
Right next to me, and I mean, I swear that she may have had the same kind of accident. Because I don't think that anything gaseous could possibly, I don't know, I don't want to get too graphic, you know what I mean? Some people may still be heading out for lunch. $9.95, Chris. How do you like that?
Oh, I love it.
Mr. Hotshot. Yeah, you love it. And I did it all on my own, too. You never dreamed I could do it. You never dreamed of it.
Never.
What did we start out with, about 8 votes? 10 o'clock? It wasn't too good. It was like about 500 or something like that. Then if I'm Joel Feinberg and I got Geldy on the air, you see, that's what's going on now, Joel. Now that you got the weak sisters of the poor on the air, the leftovers that nobody else wants, now we're gonna have like 80 million votes. And when the numbers come out, we're gonna have zillions, and you're gonna be back to your old numbers again, starting with N1s and O's and like that. 995. I think we can count this right on in there, can't we?
Yeah.
Although now, Eric, I can smell it because I just clicked it and nothing happened. Eric's got his foot on the brake, just like in the Hitcher. Remember he put that thing, what did he put on the brake in the truck?
Like a toolbox or something.
Was it? 996. We need only 4 more. I better get the mandate stuff queued up. I don't want to play a whole lot of that because this is anticlimactic. We know we're going to make it. That's only called for when it's real, when like really in doubt.
Yes!
See, that's like low key.
Yes!
Like that. As opposed to...
Yes!
No. You agree with me?
Yeah.
Because we've known for some time now, this hour, that they came through for us. 997, only 3 more.
Yes!
We get 1,000, and then I can take the rest of the month off.
No.
Why not?
Because...
Well, what do you care? Is that a shot at George?
Never. I love George.
Look at the money George is making for filling in. And then the two of you can sit down and cry. Although at least he's getting to take out that hot Russian chick. Of course, Chris is okay. We can't talk about it on the air, but he's all right. Right, Chris? We can't talk about it on the air.
Sure.
$9.98. What?
He was talking about it.
Who talked about it?
Well, he didn't answer because you can't talk about it.
I don't want to. It's personal, you know. This is business, and that's personal. And I'm just ecstatic for you that, you know.
Me too.
A guy like you, who is not perhaps $9.99. I don't want to say it.
Yes!
Uh-oh.
Yes!
I'll leave it up to Chris to do the job, because when you click that baby one more time, that next one, if we had $1 million to give away, we'd give it to the 1,000th vote on there, you know?
I'm clicking right now.
Are you clicking it?
Well, voting, you know.
You
1,001.
jackass.
Oh, you can't vote. In other words,
1,002.
We got 1,002.
You jackass.
No, that's not what you want to play like.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes! Yes!
One more.
Yes!
Okay.
And you had doubts.
1,002. Now, what?
You had doubts.
Of course I had my doubts. Why should I believe? And on the 17th of July, even in a lifeless place like freaking South Florida, I mean, I'm sorry. But it's just, to me, a major miracle. And you know what you said last week one day? You said the audience is back, in spite of Joe Bell. Isn't that what you said, in spite of that fat-ass Joe Bell?
Yeah, look at those ratings.
That's what Chris said. Take a look at those numbers. And now the poll result, it shows there's somebody out there diddling around with this show. At least on Tuesday and Thursday. Now, I don't know what George is doing with those polls like that one yesterday. You better come up with something better than that, and a little stronger. Remember on the first team, they always used to say that, oh, that's really strong, Defoe, that's really strong, you know? Is that like guy talk? Is that how guys talk?
Sportsy guys, you know.
Oh, that's really strong,
guys.
Defoe, that's really strong. Oh, you're really strong. Quite a comment. It's really strong. Do you have any idea how obnoxious I find that? I mean, we know about you because you're just the anti-spectator sports person. I am not. I live and die with the teams that I root for. Okay, 2 of them. But other than that, it's just it's a game. It's a pastime. It's not your life. It's not something anybody ought to be talking about in the middle of freaking July when it's 400 degrees outside.
And it is played along by Giunta.
Played along. Stop me. If I ever hear Doc Emmerich say "played along" one more time, I'm going to smack his bald spot, which is his whole head. You know Doc Emmerich? Of course you do.
No.
Why not?
I don't.
Well, here's an old Stanley Cup game. Let's get some old Leaf games on from 100 years ago when they were good and actually won something. I hear the rumor around town is the Panthers are poised to make a run for the Stanley Cup. That's what I'm hearing. That's what Joel Feinberg is saying. That's the kind of propaganda he's coming up with, being the professional BS artist that he is. Oh, yeah. You remember I had a great line for them when they put that crap on the air, and they were gonna knock us out. And of course, basically we knocked ourselves down, and you know, in total incompetence. And I said, you can't talk yourself into a number. Like Sid the Kid. Oh, I got more on Neil.
And what if they talk a lot, though?
Yeah, about jockstraps. What was the Brady Quinn stuff? Somebody sent me some Brady Quinn, and I looked at it, and I forgot what the hell it was. What was that? Was that on MySpace?
I don't know.
I mean, I got Brady Quinn everywhere. I got him on the wall. I got him on the ceiling. I got him on the floor. I got him...
Yeah.
1,005 votes on our world-famous poll. You mark my words. Wall Street Journal, the Today Show tomorrow. Matt Lauer is going to bring Katie Couric back from the CBS Evening News, and they're going to dance at Kazatsky. Neil Rogers got 1,000 and blah, blah, blah votes yesterday on the 17th of July on his marginal show on QAM. Now, Tom Jicka hates like poison, by the way, because Tom, you know what Tom's biggest problem is?
He's bald and stupid?
See, you're not supposed to say that, because then it's not worth the effort for me to find where it says... But that was a good guess, though. Caller number 5. Well, look at this. Here's the thing. I can't believe that we're actually giving something away. Caller number 5 right now to the WQM contest line wins a $50 gift certificate to Rivals Waterfront Sports Grill. 1-800-227-0560. 1-800-227-0560. Caller number 5 gets that $50 gift certificate to Rivals. That's nice. Well, are we going to be doing this all the time?
We do not know.
A little bit. Huh?
We don't know.
We did it last week. Boy. Call the number 5 right now, 1-800-227-0560. Now, is Raleigh, Roly-Poly, is he the one that's answering the phone?
Yes.
Right, until they fire him.
I was just going to say, until they bring somebody in from Raleigh to fire his ass. Well,
his days are numbered, like on one
sure
hand.
That.
Yeah.
And so, hopefully, our Jolly Joes, if we don't get some, speaking of numbers. August 1st, don't forget, it's a Wednesday, George. Do a great job that day when the book comes out. If we don't
I heard
do
you
well,
were coming in that day.
Yeah, you're going to make a cameo.
Holy Mackinac! This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're listening to the Hockey Authority, Neil Goff.
You love it at the ballpark. Now, get that great stadium organ sound every day with the Personal Stadium Organ. The Personal Stadium Organ is perfect for any occasion. To hurry up a long line at the DMV.
Next, please! Next, please! Next, please! Next, please! Next, please! Next, please! Next, please!
When the boss is angry. Kowalski, get in here! And when you and the missus are in the mood.
Are you ready, honey?
It's the perfect way to root on your humdrum life. Get a Personal Stadium Organ today.
145 at 560 WQM. We got our 1,000 votes with plenty to spare. Everything is marvelous, ain't it?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Whatever Frankie Pentangeli says. I wish I knew what the hell network that was. It was carrying all the, you know? You ever have that happen where you watch something on TV and you don't know what channel it was on? And then what do?
You press the remote info button and you find out.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not watching it now. I'm talking about it's after the fact. I know that.
Oh, then you forget about it. You forget about it.
Give me a little bit of credit, like I couldn't find out what channel it was when I was watching it. Jesus, God, and Joseph, man, you know this. Just because I'm on Social Security and I got a walker in a colostomy bag, don't jump all over my old ass. A joint congressional subcommittee hearing has been scheduled on storm tracking at the National Hurricane Center. Oh, let's pray to the Lord we don't have no hurricanes, you know. During the hearing, the hurricane's now ousted director, Bill Parenza, was expected to testify. That's coming up Thursday. Parenza went on leave from his position as head of the Hurricane Center on the 9th of July. Deputy Director Ed Rappaport assumed Parenza's duties on an interim basis. Ed Rappaport, as we know, we've seen him during all the hurricanes on TV a lot, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Nice guy, very boring. Very boring. Not as boring as Kim Bocamper, but almost. Parenza had spoken out about the aging Quick Scat weather satellite and had come under fire from his staff. Quick Scat. They said he damaged public confidence in their abilities, exaggerated problems that hurt staff morale. But that brings back memories of Amsterdam. Quick Scat. Parenza assumed the job in January, replacing longtime director Max Mayfield, who also we all remember and was incredibly boring. He had a personality like a dead man. Conrad Lautenbecker, head of NOAA, was set to testify as well Thursday. The Energy and Environment Subcommittee Investigations Oversight Committee will be holding the hearing 10 o'clock Thursday morning. NOAA spokesman Anson Franklin, who may be related to Anson Carter, or Anson, what's his name, from Happy Days? I can never remember. What's his name? Anson Williams. Said the agency was preparing. We're currently working on details of the hearing with committee staff, he said, and they're going to rake somebody over the coals. Probably this poor Parenza guy, because nobody can pronounce his name. Hey, Billy boy, you've had it, man. You're next. You're going to stoke your ass over the coals. They'll probably take your ass out and lynch you in the field somewhere. A legend of the Colombian underworld appeared in court yesterday, hoping to escape extradition to the U.S. by taking advantage of amnesty legislation. This is from the Scotsman. Diego Murillo, better known by his underworld alias, Don Berna, surrendered in 2005 as part of a peace process with right-wing paramilitaries of the United Self-Defense Forces of Colombia. So far, more than 30,000 fighters have given up their weapons. What is it with Colombia? I mean, what is the story with that country? You know, there's so many beautiful Colombian people. Huh?
They got coke.
Yeah. Well, things go better.
Mm-hmm, they do.
As part of the deal to demobilize paramilitaries who confess to their crimes face a maximum of 7 years in the work farm and are shielded from extradition. Am I correct in saying that the last break this hour is only 3 minutes, Chris?
That's correct.
Well, what kind of communist bunch of horse crap is that? 3-minute break. You know, something about this sales department I'm going to tell you right. I don't even want to say it.
Well, it's 3.5 with your rejoiner, so hey.
Oh, you got a long rejoin?
Sure.
Well, it's a good thing you told me that.
You're welcome.
Because if I'm back timing and you screw me up with one of those long rejoins, and I'm counting on like, hey, this is Macy Pupik from the Marlins, and like that. Screws up all my plans, like Tessio said. You can't do that. It screws up all my plans. We finally got Tessio on there. Where the hell is it? Can I find it, you think? Shouldn't it be under Tessio? Oh, there it is. Screws up all...
It screws up all my arrangements.
Yeah, that's arrangements. Now you're a real Godfather scholar if you know that he said instead of it screws up all my plans or screws up all my arrangements, he said screws up all my arrangements. How do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
As part of the deal, demobilized paramilitaries who confess to their crimes face a max of 7 years in the work farm and are shielded from extradition. This is especially relevant for Don Berna, who has an extradition warrant pending for drug trafficking. After 25 years in the criminal underworld, Don Berna knows far too much and could implicate senior politicians and members of the security forces. However, he's so far denied even being a drug trafficker, although DEA sources admit that he's one paramilitary leader they're desperate to get their hands on. Oh, there's a lot of Colombians I'm desperate to get my hands on. Mama la mia. What? I've never been involved directly in drug trafficking and fought all my life against his scourge, he told a Scotsman in an interview in 2004. On meeting Don Byrne, it's hard to see what all the fuss is about. A short, stocky man with a potbelly. He appears to lack sophistication and displays a rudimentary education. You know what that reminds me of? The scene in Godfather 2 where Robert De Niro goes back to Corleone. Was that Don Ciccio? What was that guy's name?
Which one? The guy that got stabbed?
Yeah, the one that he stabbed. My name is Anthony Andolini, or whatever the hell it was.
Right, Antonio Andolini. And this is for you.
And then, of course, what's his name? Poor Don Schmendrick there, he gets shot in the leg. Which is why he's walking around like peg-leg Bates the rest of the movie there. What was his name? Don Tomasino.
Okay, there you go.
Don Tomasino. Hey,
Lucchese was the one with the glasses in the eye.
Baby. I know them all. I know Don No. What does Don?
No.
Yeah. I know Don Corleone. And then, of course, the scene with the senator there, you know, the smart-ass. The Corleone family, the Corleone. My offer to you is this, Senator. Nothing. Now, that's a great scene. Where he's giving a song to dance. He don't like your kind of people. And then, of course, he winds up in that floozy joint there with that hooker, that dead hooker.
Yeah.
I guess that was probably just a coincidence, you know. It was lucky for him that it just happened to be owned by the Corleone family.
That's right.
That Frater was running that joint, that hooker joint, with all those prostitutas. And, of course, we know that it's fiction because politicians don't, they don't concern with prostitutas.
That's right.
Unless they're Republicans. And Ted Kennedy. I don't think Ted ever had to do no prostitutas, huh?
You don't know.
Well, could be. Could be. I don't think so.
I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, any family where Bobby and Jack were doing Marilyn Monroe, I'm sure that they had plenty of freebies as all later. They didn't have to go like paying for it, at least not directly anyway.
Remember, you don't pay them for the sex; you pay them to leave afterwards
and keep their mouth shut.
That's extra.
Oh, is that what's going to happen with Josh Cordes' girlfriend this weekend? How much are you going to pay her? How much is a schlepper like you going to pay her, huh?
We'll work something out.
Yeah, I think I've seen one or two of those myself. That you're talking about working out. When in doubt, work it out. That's what they say. Now, this whole thing to me sounds so contrived. I mean, the idea, Josh Cordes, if he really thought that there was any chance of something going on there, he would come in with an Uzi and blow you to smithereens, wouldn't he?
Maybe.
He would blow you to bits.
You don't know what kind of policy they have.
Unless, of course, you were right a couple of weeks ago when you were talking about all the philandering and screwing around he's going to be doing in Vegas, which I can't believe a good clean-cut boy like him. That would be like Tom Brady impregnating all those chicks.
Remember Miami Town.
Absolutely.
At 560 WQAM.
I'm dying over here.
Way down in Jamaica in the Caribbean, they got the best herb that you ever seen. Ask anybody in that neighborhood, they tell you this the country where the ganja be good. Rastaman has some he want to sell, and from a mile away you can detect the smell of smoke. Smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. He light up the spliff and toke. Smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. Smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. The ganja be good. You can carry lots of herb in the gunny sack.
Smoke it every day until your lungs turn black. With all the money that we have made, Jamaica doesn't need any foreign aid. American tourists come here and say, got nothing like this in the USA. They smoke, ganja, smoke. They light up the spliff and toke. They begin to cough and choke. Smoke, ganja, smoke. The ganja be good. Mama tell her son you are a Rasta man. You like to smoke the giant spliff whenever you can. Many people coming here from miles around to buy the herb from you by the ounce and the pound. Rasta man say to her, Mama, you right. The ganja be good tonight. And then they smoke, ganja, smoke. They light up the spliff and choke. Smoke, ganja, smoke. Smoke, ganja, smoke. The ganja be good.
Bye. Well, you got to take advantage of it. It's simple percentage move for Freddie, and he's got to start taking it. Was there something in that one that I missed?